My name is Bala. I'm 17 years. It was the Boko Haram. Once we are living in peace, we don't know how to fight or whatever. We are living in peace. Boko Haram now came and started shooting. All of us, we are jumping through fence so that we can guide our life. That is how. We run onto a mountain. They see no one in the house. They now follow us up into the mountain. They were killing people, slaughtering them like a goat. We were walking in the dead people. After for a while, they know we are farming and using our water to cook and wash. By that time, we didn't have tap water or this thing. It's only well we have. After for a while, they know they have seen we are using the well. They are now started killing people, throwing them into the well. That is how thirsty were hungering us, and we now started drinking the water with the blood inside. After for a while, we are suffering like this. They were killing people, know how you can do to save them. If you come out, they will kill you too. Like this, they were killing our brothers and sisters. We are seeing them. But my mother, she's a businesswoman. She used to fly Akara. We use her money to do transport. Our cousin helped us to pack us for our clothes. We now come to Pilka. From Pilka, we now go to Goza. From Goza, we now come to Borno. After for that, we are hearing them. They were following all the people. They were following our brothers and sisters, even to the Cameroon. They were following them to kill them. But thank God, my dad have money and now pay money for a rider to bring us to Abuja. We are living in scared. We are not coming out in the morning, talk less of night. We are sleeping there. By that time, there was not IDP camp. We are living together with host community. It's 2014, we came here. We are living with host community. Then, one man came to here. It was pastor. Yes, he opened us a church. Now, he was the one that started with us, and he come name us IDP camp. From there, we now started getting food, shelter, and education.
You've been in the camp for how many years now?
11 years.
11 years?
Yeah. Yes, I am still in school. I want to be a doctor. Medical doctor. I want to help people that they are dying, sick. Some of them are in the surgery. I want to learn handwork. We are doing summer lesson and they are teaching us shoemaking. So I enjoy it and I want to do it. Thank you.
Hello and welcome. My name is Rudolph Okonkwo. This is 90 Minutes Africa. Today, in 90 minutes, we are going to have a conversation on the state of Nigeria, the political environment. We are going to talk about the upcoming election and what the political temperature is like. Across the nation, there are new alignments. People are forming parties. People are joining parties, people are forming movements. On one side, we all know about the city movement, which is organization of people coming together to support the establishment, the political establishment in Nigeria. On the other side, we also have a new movement called the Village Boys. The Village Boys are presenting themselves as a grassroots resistance and a platform for political reawakening among ordinary Nigerians. So the battle line is drawn. What does that mean? What does that mean for Nigeria's democracy? What forces are shaping the political landscape ahead of 2027? And how strong is this emerging grassroots pushback? Today on 90 Minutes, we are going to examine these questions and take the pulse of the nation. Joining us is Maazi Ezeoke, who is now the new village headmaster of the Village Boys movement, as well as the anchor and CEO of Njenje Media. Most of you know him. He will speak with us about the growing political tension in the country, the emerging struggle for power ahead of 2027, what the Village Boys movement represents, and what Nigerians should expect as the political storms gather. We're promising you that it will be a candid and revealing conversation. We are also going to talk about issues in the news as of today. So join me in welcoming to the show the village headmaster himself, Maazi Ezeoke. Maazi, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rudolph, Dr. Damages. I hope you're no longer damaging stuff.
Nice to see you. I was surprised that we saw you again. You showed up as a village headmaster in Nigeria. We will get to that. But first of all, let's talk about issues in the news. Just a week ago, the world was different. We were thinking that, few problems here and there, but now the world changed. We know that in Iran, in the Middle East as a whole, there are crises, there are fight, war, and nobody can predict what will happen next. I hear people now talk about use of nuclear weapon as an option. So it's a different world. What is playing out in Nigeria? I understand that the U.S. embassy is closed in Nigeria. There are fear of protests. People are protesting in supporting one side or the other. What is the temperature there?
To be honest with you, here in Abuja, there is nothing actually that is happening. I mean, everything is calm as it, as we all know it. I think within the week we saw pockets of individuals, who tried to march the streets, and their march was peaceful. The state did virtually nothing, just basically observe what they were doing. Understanding that Nigeria is now under surveillance, so to say. And yes, you're right. The American embassy is closed off because I do not know the reason behind it, but common sense will tell you that they are, anticipating that certain individuals might begin to take the streets and they might not know how that will end. You're right. A couple of days ago, none of us knew. Just a couple of weeks ago in Dubai, and you would never believe that bomb would ever land that place. And now things are changing, and they are changing rapidly. And the dynamics of that war, as it is also changing. And the propaganda thereto is also changing, because we can see that the Iranians are somewhat appearing to be surprising the West. And if you watch the Western media, you see that there appears to be some level of not necessarily the way you had the 1991 Gulf War being televised every time, or the way when you had the Iraq fall during Saddam Hussein televised, that really showing what is happening is being reduced, because the other side of it is also not being shown. Not the narrative that we hear on the streets. The West is really getting a surprise, and by Iran. And myself too, I never knew that Iran. I thought when the Ayatollah was taken out, that the regime would, inadvertently come to an end. But it appears they are giving us a run for the money.
There are people talking about misinformation all over social media. Have you noticed any? Is what people are seeing in the West different from what people are seeing in a place like Nigeria in the news?
Well, in the news, obviously, Nigerians are seeing what they see from BBC or BBC or CNN, or Fox. But most times, because this is internet based, I juggle a little bit. I want to move away. There is a station called ABS, I think, is an Arabic television that tried to do some subtitle. Is not necessarily the mainstream, but I mean, they are doing a brilliant job trying to show the other side of it. And I do mix it with Russian television because obviously, if you only depend on one angle, you will. But the Nigerian population obviously is only saying what the Arise channels and AIT and many others are showing, and that's where they get the news from.
Mhm. Okay, so about the Nigerian government, what is their reaction to what's going on in the Middle East?
Jokingly, I was conversing with someone earlier yesterday, and he said, "Please, Nigerian government should not react. So it's better we stay the way we are because we don't want for somebody to talk and whatever he says means something else. So no missiles intended for Iran should come the direction of Nigeria. So that's that's the way Nigerians are taking it. Um, you know, Nigeria is caught in between the hard rock and the mountain because on one side we have our Muslim brothers who are siding Iran, and obviously the Christian-dominated part of Nigeria also, siding the American and the Israeli. It's quite an interesting take that, as I think in some of the groups where you also belong, one of the group is Concerned Nigeria. I was taking time last night reading the conversation that go there. Every single post that has to do with that, you can see is a divide. If it's about Iran, you can see our brothers, our Muslim brothers, being against it. If you see something, that has to do with, this Israeli jet was shot down, the other one shot down, you can see immediately the people of the Christian faith kind of antagonizing it. But interesting enough that people would just reduce these to faith. It's quite, it's quite something that is to be observed and studied, because I was thinking by now we should know Iran is not entirely, faith-based, as because if you consider the neighbors, they've attacked their neighbors that should probably have the same faith with them, but the war is not conventional in the sense or in the traditional way that many Nigerians would want to take it. But one thing is that people at home, people are going about their businesses. Aside those who have come out to protest, is not so many people, to be honest with you, are not even, they don't even know that that war is ongoing. I tried something around Jabi, trying to ask people what do they think about the war? And then someone said, which war? And you're like, I mean, I don't blame you, because if someone is trying to eke out a living, he's not even bothered about what's happening international. So you must have light, and you know that the electricity in Nigeria has gotten from bad to worse, because I think as of now we have about 2,100 and something thousand megawatts, where we have the capacity to generate between 12,000 to 15,000, and we've been generating about 4,800 to 5,000 max, right? But now it's gone less than half of what we've been used to. So no one, many people do not have electricity, therefore they may not also know what is happening on the other side.
You mentioned the lines of divide, which is Christian Muslim. There's another one, people who believe that America should not be the only power in the world, people who tend to ally themselves with Russia and China. And before this war, they were, of course, behind Iran, saying that China and Russia will come to their aid and support them in a situation where there is war. That didn't happen. How are people like that explaining that now in Nigeria? Because there were people waiting for this to happen, for the Russians and the Chinese to come get involved.
I haven't come across those who are hoping that China and Russia would have jumped in, because if anybody, anybody who has any sense of history would know that with what happened in Venezuela, and that China cannot lift a finger for you. I mean, they are they're ready to deal deals with you, but when it comes to war and when it comes to your national sovereignty being violated, China is not going to send one of their soldiers for you. And you can see it again. It has played out in Iran. So anyone hoping for that, but they can issue press statements and they can call press conferences for you. And if it goes beyond that, sorry, you're on your own. I believe so.
Okay, let me go to something different. There was something that happened, came out, I think, Friday. Let's watch a little bit of that video and then we come back and talk.
There is also this threat to life, and I can tell you that because I myself have received threats from Ezeoke and his camp, and this is evident, is everywhere I've reported to law enforcement. A lot of people have been threatened. I am not surprised because a militia has been created, and I'm calling on the government to look into that. So finally, gentlemen of the press, there are many other wide range of issues that will come in the coming days, but this is just the introduction of what I have to say. I will yield the floor to our next speaker, who will in detail speak about the reason why we are here today. Thank you, sir.
All right. That is your friend, Daniel Bala. He went on Al Jazeera to be interviewed on the program called Head to Head. Let's watch.
Created a militia. Tinubu is one of the foremost politicians in Nigerian history.
Tinubu and his people created a
democracy.
militia. Who said those words, Daniel?
Tinubu has helped in strengthening democracy in
Tinubu
Nigeria.
and his people created a militia, Daniel. Who said those words?
Tinubu brought in leadership
I'll ask a third
skills
time.
into governance.
Tinubu and his people created a militia. Who said those words?
Tinubu and his people never created the militias. That's
So why did you say they did on January 22nd, 2023?
I never said that.
The candidate of All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his people created a militia. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria we are seeing a political party creating a militant arm leading to election.
Does he have a militia that tried to kill you?
He doesn't have. I never said he tried to kill me.
I myself have received threats from him and his camp. Your words.
I never said that.
There is also this threat to life, and I can tell you that because I myself have received threats from Ezeoke and his camp.
You said it was so corrupt, the 2023 election, Tinubu's win. You said that you couldn't eat food for 3 days.
I never said that. Where?
And legitimate complaints were raised all over Nigeria. That part is what threw me off balance. In fact, I became so sick. For the past 3 days, I found it very hard eating food.
Tinubu is not just super rich. It's what he does with his wealth. In 2019, 2 armored money trucks, bullion vans, were seen going into his house, coming out of his house. Where did that money go?
No. Point. Did you see the money? Or those who reported, did they see money inside the bullion van?
Was there no money in the bullion vans?
How am I to know?
You said it was money in the vans at the time.
I never
2023, February.
But there is only one person in Nigeria who is alleged to have moved money through bullion vans, and that person is on their ballot as the presidential candidate.
On the eve of the presidential elections, 2 cash-laden bullion vans, your words, were seen on the premises, which was ostensibly for vote buying. Your words, January 22nd, 2023. Have you just disowned everything you've said in order to work for this president?
I'm coming. What
All right, that's a little bit of the interview. Someone added the actual video because during the show they didn't play the videos, and people were questioning if it was were right or wrong. Okay, so it was a disaster, and he wasn't the only one who was humiliated. If you look at the comments, the media in Nigeria is also being questioned. So let's start with the performance. Do you know him, Daniel?
Rudolph. So, do you want to do your own off-take as well? If I deny him that I don't know.
No, I don't know. I don't know him. I've never met him. I've never talked to him.
You can go and bring your own take and say.
No, if you know him, I need access to him because we want him on the show next week.
Yes, I know Daniel Bala very well. When he was in the PDP and during the presidential election, both of us were in Abuja, and during the court case, we were also in Abuja. And before then, during the COVID, is a person I've known for a long time. During the COVID, that everybody was on sit at home. We had a series of one-on-one conversation on Njenje Media TV and on issues concerning COVID, the Nigerian political space. Daniel Bala, not because of what happened. Daniel Bala is a brilliant mind, a first-class brain. But again, the thing is, he said something. There was a time he made a tweet. He said that the brain is if I find the right word, that the brain functions until you join the APC, then it starts malfunctioning. I do not know if that was what happened to him because he has joined the APC, right? Daniel Bala, like I said, is someone who is very eloquent, who, marshals out. Let me read. I said, the human brain is unique and miraculous. It works and functions optimally 24 hours a day, 365 days a year until you join the APC, then it stops working. Daniel Bala,
was he the first person that wrote that? Because I've seen it several times. Was he?
Well, I do not know, but the one I know is the one he tweeted. So the screen munch of what he tweeted. So again, if you go by that, I would say his own word is what happened to him. Recall that Daniel Bala, before that interview, if you go to his page, you also see, in my show yesterday, you can see where they were rehearsing, prepping for that. So it's not something that happened. He, in his tweet yesterday, he revealed that interview that happened took about 6 months to plan. They were going back and forth with Mahdi Hassan to plan that interview. So something that took about 6 months. And when he arrived in London, he made videos. He tweeted the videos when Hassan was holding the umbrella for him, right? So, but I was also shocked because this is not the smart Daniel Bala, that obviously But the thing is, because at some point he was asked question and he was laughing. So the guy was, why are you laughing? This is not funny. And, so he wasn't getting, something must have happened to him. But in my explanation, what must have happened to him is the APC must have happened to him, because in his words, the brain was working before. The moment he joined the APC and trying to defend the APC. And again, the thing is that you cannot defend the APC and remain normal and sound normal. It's not only him. Do the same thing with Reno Omokri, who told us he went to Chicago and he found out and he saw the documents that XYZ happened. I don't want to say what the things he said, but suddenly he's telling you, oh, well, he found out that those things didn't then happen. One thing that I take away from all this is that in communication, and especially in public communication, we must be measured with our words. I know there are times people would accuse us to say, oh, you're speaking tongue-in-cheek. You're not. That you can talk doesn't mean there are issues you just uncontrollable and just say with finality. And it is as a result of making statement with finality that you can say this is just a tip of the iceberg, right? That Hassan was able to get these things. And he made a tweet now saying, oh, I didn't know they were going to question me about my past performances. Haba, if somebody is bringing you for a one-on-one, so one-on-one has no limit. Now that I'm one-on-one with Rudolph Okonkwo, Rudolph can suddenly ask me,
No, it's coming. It's coming.
Okay. Okay. So Rudolph can ask me, Maazi, you said this thing the other day. Is this still the same way? Or, so that to give that as an excuse is actually ridiculous. Sorry, but for me, it didn't cut it. If I were him, when I read his tweet yesterday, I said to myself, okay, when you have been knocked, when somebody carried you up in the village square and knock you on the ground, and there is dust everywhere, do not try to get more dust up. Pipe low, let the dust settle. Then you can probably crawl back to your house and ask madam to get you some hot water and massage your waist. But what did Zanebola say yesterday? He's the one that is actually raising the dust rather than allow the dust to settle. It was not a fantastic outing for him. Even more so, worse than what Danebola did was the nonsensical comment by the APC chairman, the guy on the brown, on your mandate they shall fall cards, right? The guy who just made a mess of himself, because I used to think he's a smart guy. But listening to him on that interview, I'm like, how can you defend that this guy was rich? He was a rich man. He worked in Detroit and what not. Come on. It's, that outing, I believe he should have a part 2 to redeem himself. And I think he's already planning for part 2.
Yeah, I heard he actually requested for a part 2 of that encounter with the hope that it will help him to restore any bit of his reputation. But beyond what you said about joining APC and losing your mind and everything, was some people blame the media, the Nigerian media. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Some people were saying, and I got a lot of them on my phone, people writing me, showing me the video, say you should watch this. This is how interviews should be. You people should learn from Hassan. Are you going to learn from Hassan?
Well, everybody to their style, right? You achieve the same. You can achieve the same result, the same outcome, right, without being confrontational. But Hassan, that is his own style. Recall that Shako, the guy that does that BBC program where Obasanjo got angry, wanted to walk out, Hard Talk. So that is the nature of that program, right? And the way he does his own, so that is his nature. And you can't change that. You recall, our dear sister, Obi Ezeoke, was on that show. Obi Ezeoke did not disgrace Nigerians. Obi Ezeoke stood her ground because Hassan was trying to make Obi sort of apologize for serving in a government that Hassan considered corrupt. That's Obasanjo's government. Obi stood her ground and said, well, I served my nation. I didn't serve Obasanjo. And I did my best. So let's speak about myself. Did you see that I was corrupt? Or did you see any time? Did you understand? So it's still the same. She's still a Nigerian. So it's not about, oh, this guy doesn't like us. And some of the APC guys were already saying, who paid this guy? That's his job. So if you're saying, if I'm going to, I took 1 or 2 things out from there, to be hard hitting, I would improve, because I like the way he did his work. The basic thing is that he did his work and he concentrated on that. So even when security, you played at the beginning, that brilliant young child that spoke at the beginning before the program started, brilliant mind. I was watching that young boy. I had good spin. I'm like, well spoken, even in an IDP camp for 11 years. But that boy, he said he wants to be a medical doctor. I believe, I have no doubt that boy will make it. Brilliant young child. That boy has grown up in the last 11 years in the IDP camp. That Goza, the place he called Goza, 2 days ago, how many people were killed in that place? People who came for the first time in the last 10 years. They've been living in Cameroon. They came back and they got killed. 2 days ago in Nigeria, in Goza, in Borno State. In November, I spoke with their leaders. I had the State of the Nation that I do have on my platform, and their leaders, they came. They are no longer. So many of them to join that program some joined from Plateau State, some joined from Nasarawa, some joined from Abuja, some joined from London. So you can see, as a result of the insecurity in their place, how they've all run away, begging to see how they can go back home, right? So if we can all see this, then the guest was saying he was only talking about his past, the insecurity part. Why did he not do so well in those? Even when Amnesty International is quoted, in fact, that interview made Daniel Bala look like someone who is fighting with his tool, because he disagreed with everything. If he quotes Amnesty International, he has issue with it. If he quotes his own words, he has issue with his own words as well. Until after that video, after that day, and Al Jazeera did that actually, by the way. Al Jazeera went back to put some of these videos together. I said this is part 1. Wait for part 2, because there is more that they could put together, but it was indeed very, very, laughable to see that. So to say to your question, my brother, we would improve in our pattern of questioning, but those who can be more confrontational can be. But I believe that without being confrontational, one can still extract the same level of information from that individual or your guest.
Now, talking about confrontational and styles, when someone like Oseni Rufai, when he does what he does on Arise, people also criticize him. Can you explain the difference?
No, I think, Rufai does it, and I like it, because Rufai kind of pushes you to say things. Just that sometimes when you there are certain language as a moderator in a television that I think probably shouldn't be used, like saying to someone, I'll put it to you. I mean, this is not a law court or a police interrogation, right? But staying to the fact, on so day, this is what you said. Has it changed? So if you deny it, I know you've denied it. On so day, this is what you said. Is it still the same? But again, people criticizing Rufai, bear in mind that, Rudolph, if people does not criticize what you do, that means you're not doing well. It is only a ripe tree with fruit that children can throw stones just to get something out of. If they don't criticize you, that means you're basically TikToking and Instagramming. That's I put it that way.
If that interview had happened in Nigeria, would it have been the same?
It depends on who the host is. Yes.
If the same people, Hassan with Daniel, would that have been the same?
No, of course. You mean if it's the same media outlet?
Yeah, but in Nigeria,
it wouldn't have changed anything. So you mean because location, just like I was telling before we started, in a telephone conversation with Professor Solo Soyinka, he used a phrase, location indifferent. So location shouldn't matter. The location of that shouldn't matter. Would people bust in there and say, stop questioning or what? You understand? But you can now see it. The one that I detest is, because this is a brilliant interview. What Rufai does, brilliant too. The one that I detest, and I say, God, may we not, may our stomach not control us so much to stoop this low, is the one that the landlord of Abuja calls them and sit down, and he's ranting to them. And you're like, what are you watching? Because this is not serious, right? So that one is when I begin to question the sanity of those so-called journalists who sit down there and just listen to somebody rant. And after 2 hours, paid, live stream, full outdoor studio production paid for. That's the most expensive broadcast in Nigeria. I hope you know that. OBS, outdoor broadcasting, right? That you're going to broadcast outdoor with all the equipment, because you're moving with a mini studio out to go and do that. And they pay for 2 hours of that. The most expensive production. To what end? Just to respond to somebody. I think there comes a time that they should tell him, I mean, this is not broadcast. But anyway, they need the money to survive.
Okay, one last thing on this. There were this other thinking that if Hassan had been a Nigerian journalist facing Daniel, that he would have been more aggressive, stop him, interrupt, and that it wouldn't have been the same dynamics. That because he's somebody from outside, he had to behave in a different way. He said, you know him. How has his, the former interviews? I've not seen him a lot. I've not watched a lot of his interviews.
He has done interviews with Arise, and he has had altercations with Rufai, really, going at each other to a point, asked for water. I mean, Rufai doesn't take prisoners in that sense, so he is not a new thing. There could be that there could also be the fact that in his mind, this is an international media. This has been recorded in London, so that would affect his demeanor as well. He wouldn't want to come out as an attack dog, as a mad dog for the government. So he would behave. Yes, of course, there is that element, and for the fact also that it is not a one-on-one, that you had audience in there of various sphere of life, would also put you in check. You don't want everybody to think, how did this madman get in here, right? So that put also some checks on him. Recall that. I mean, when the Christian genocide thing happened, he was the one that was sent round the globe to go and defend that, because he's a pastor, in quote. He's from Middle Belt, Bono, precise. He's a Christian, so he is the best person to go and speak to the world that this is not happening. In those conversations, both the ones he did with Deutsche Welle, CNN, BBC, he did well. But he gets to this one, I think the format is what knocked him down, because this format is unconventional.
This other thinking, a lot of people felt that the Nigerian media we've not been preparing our politicians and political actors to be able to survive on the international arena. So they give an example with Piers Morgan when he interviewed the foreign minister. That too was a disaster. And the reason is that when they appear in Nigeria, like you mentioned, Wike and the way he controlled the conversation, when they appear on Nigerian TV, they don't get the kind of questioning that they should get. When they now go outside, they fumble. Do you agree?
I totally agree. I'll give an example. I was trying to, in my State of the Nation program, I was trying to invite a senator, and I addressed him there, his name, senator, his name. He replied me that he was not going to attend to my program because I didn't address him well. No, I'm not kidding you. And I'm like, but is that not your name, or are you not a senator? I didn't add chief. I didn't add all those madness. I mean, of what use is that? So you can understand the mentality of those in authority. I tell you, very, very few, very, very few. In fact, almost no politician in Nigeria today could survive that interview, without exception. Almost no politician that I know today in Nigeria. Only people like probably, Professor Yomi Otibanjo, and, because that is fire. You got to be, you got to really have your best there. But obviously, the way the things have done, the way things are done in Nigeria is that it many times when you also ask questions, people would think, I know that during the presidential election, I was interviewing one of the senators and I called him by, senator name. And after that interview, he told me that I insulted him. I said, sir, now how did I? He said, no, that why should I address him? So do you understand? So it's also some of us who have also operated in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. Sometimes, why it's your name is your name. It's Rudolph Okonkwo. So what's these appendages? And if you don't do it, now they go to a place, those appendages are not accorded to them because that's your name. That's the name in your passport. You've sent the page of your passport, and that's what you're known for. So because in Nigeria, we have this culture of, respecting people in authority, respecting elders, and overdoing it. Now it goes into even the way you converse with them. And that conversation is what, as a result of what you're saying, no politician would also survive that. The one, the former governor of Rivers State, sorry to say this, sometimes, I think in one of the interviews, which I found so arrogant, they asked him a question on something about the Ministry of Transport. He said, I won't answer that. Go to the next question. I mean, why did you come? They asked him something about the now Minister of the FCT. He said, why should I talk about Ismail Jr.? So, but that's derogatory, right? But it happened in Nigerian media. And the next thing, if you had pushed, he could walk out, right? And now, if he walks out, maybe your producer will begin to give you query because they may have lost revenues accruing to or from those ministries. So at the end of the day, in Nigeria, because they are the ones funding the mainstream medias, and you cannot expect someone who is funding you to take certain bullets. I've witnessed it in one of the press conferences that I had in Abuja with Professor Chris Mokobia regarding the Mele Kiare on the missing funds. I called 6 media houses, television houses, all the ones you know. All the ones you know. The press conference is still on my YouTube channel. They came, we gave them the normal, transport you give. At night, the lady that coordinated it called me, say that story was not going to fly because it was against NNPC and their head. I said, wow. He said, don't I know that NNPC has some level of transaction they do with them? What I'm telling you, the 6 television houses, none of them touched that story. Yet all their cameramen came. The story was not published till today on Mele Kiare, on the corruption in the NMCC. So what do you expect the media to do? Now, but because I don't care. For me, it is truth. Stand by it. We published it. Here we are today. So like you said, I won't be surprised that in Nigeria, things will happen differently.
Now, you made me think about, I always worry about understanding of the media. I can tell you how many times I receive messages from people saying, this is not journalism, this is not how it's done. And these are people who, of course, have no experience. Is it that the media in Nigeria, they've not been able to explain the challenges they have or why things are the way they are? That the Nigerian people, sometimes they expect more than what the media can provide. Sometimes they don't even understand the environment where the media operates.
Again, you do not blame them because someone will look at Al Jazeera and does not understand the funding structure of Al Jazeera and want you to do the same thing that Al Jazeera is doing. Now, Rudolph, let's take 90 Minutes Africa. This is a program solely funded by Rudolph Okonkwo. Rudolph has a day job where he goes to work, makes his money, then uses it to fund his own program. Where it be that Rudolph is getting funding and sponsorship or maybe grant somewhere that will allow him some level of independence? The question is, and one thing, I'm not making excuses for the Nigerian media, but you need to cut them some slack. Because if you then upset the person who's going to help you pay your staff, how are you going to survive? right? So at the end of the day, it is the culture, it is the climate where you operate. Knowing that in the moment you become mainstream, government patronages are how you can survive. For instance, the election is coming. Many of them are looking forward to it because they will play adverts. No media house will want to upset the APC to a point where they do not have their advert because they know in the season how many billions they could make from those adverts, right? So, and they don't want to, miss those revenue streams. Therefore, they have to find a middle ground in order to do that.
Let's talk about the elections coming up. Things are moving so quickly. I understand that the electoral law, the new one, the amended one, has moved everything forward.
Yes.
So the primaries have to happen, and then the election will be in January for presidential election and February for. So how is that changing the conversation at home, the movement of politicians?
It's not only that the electoral law, not only that the date was changed, the date by which the primaries must happen also is pushed forward and is cast in stone. Between the 26th of April and 26th of May, these parties must do their primaries and they will have to now do and give room for litigations before the final, I think, August or thereabouts, right? The final date. Therefore, what it means now, we're in March. We only have April and May, basically 2 months. So you can see how everybody's rattled. And I said it's every single, with the exception of the APC that, they only have one candidate. But every other person, every other party is rattled. Some with this will not even make it. I make bold to say that. Some will not even make it. So having said that, you don't see that it now, and bearing in mind that also INEC is engaging on voter registration and the parties are also driving membership to come and register because the new law makes it now that you do either consensus or you go to direct primaries. Direct primaries is going to be a humongous job, and some of them are tinkering with the idea of using the blockchain technology to do their primaries. So do a hybrid. Either you do some will vote and some would now have to vote through their mobile phone and with some sort of NIN code authentication and whatnot. So it's good in some sense because I was arguing with someone last night. He said, but it's too short. I said, listen, this election is not by accident. In end of Q4, beginning of Q4 2023, the Supreme Court gave verdict on the 2023 election. Therefore, that's it. What have you been doing? So, if you give someone who is not, in my view, if you're not prepared now, if I give you another 2 years, you will not be prepared. So if you wanted to, you should have painstakingly been going through the process of getting things done before this time. So the heat is on. The politicians are feeling it. I'm not a politician. So they are feeling it. And let's see what they make of it.
The opposition complained about something specific, the online registration of their membership. What is difficult there? I don't know what they were complaining about. Is it that the time, they don't have enough time to register people, or that people cannot register online? What was the issue with that?
Honestly, I don't know specifically what you're saying, but if it's about online registration, Rudolph, I said it. I play within the opposition realm, but I do not buy that. Honestly, if you were serious some of us written about it 2 years ago. This thing should have been done. So if they can't get it done, sorry. It's honestly, I have no pity there, because there was more than enough time to have done all these things.
All right, let me play this video and then you tell me what it's about, what's going on.
Ayakai, Oribo. Kubanke dan mazaje na maza. Ita obe, wani zamu kurbi damu da fura. Ita obe, ga fita namu yayo da mara.
Okay, bu ese bu nwa ochia. Abunyo obigwe, loba ebe mandoni local government area, la River State. Abun village man kap lefaka Peter Obi.
Orúkọ mi ni Eunice àti Èjìdé, ọmọ ìpínlẹ̀ Enugu State tọ́bílẹ̀ Èkó. Mo jẹ́ village girl fún Peter.
Eva mbo Dr. Nestor Nzeribe, mbo onye Uburu, Hozara, nke ndụ na Ebonyi State, mbo a village boy for His Excellency Peter Obi.
I am Justin Kingland, Justin Okechukwu-Ezana. I am a village boy from Ifitana village, Agulu, in Anambra State. I am a village boy for Peter Obi.
My name is Okasi Oka. I'm from Umunko in Igbo-Etiti, local government area, Enugu State. I'm a village boy for Peter Obi.
My name is David. I'm for Peter Obi. I'm from Akwa Ibom State. No kana ibisikbo asutan ekpe.
I'm a village boy for Peter.
My name is Musbah Umar from Shema village. This is my local government area, Katsina State. I'm a village boy for Peter Obi.
I am village boy from Abreba, Amogudu, Abreba, Abia States, Ohafia local government. I am village boy for Peter Obi.
All right, we're here with the headmaster of the Village Boys movement. I understand Village Boy and the concept, and must it be village production of the of the video too? But you are the headmaster. What is the Village Boys? What are they up to?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Damages. What Nigerians are witnessing today is something deeper than a political campaign. The Village Boys movement is an organic awakening of Nigerian youth consciousness. This movement did not start in luxury hotels in Abuja or Lagos. It was not launched with press cameras flashing in Lagos, and it was not financed by political godfathers. It grew quietly across social media spaces, campuses. Conversations happened, market discussions, tech hubs, community gatherings across the country. You all know, from Enugu to Kaduna, Ibadan to Oyo, young Nigerians began using a new language, Village Boys. And the reason, it is powerful, it is very simple. It was not manufactured, it was discovered. This is not branding, it is awakening. Why am I saying all these things? I say this, that Village Boy is a direct affront to some of the videos some of us watched when you saw the over bloated fed baby from Imo State when they were showcasing vehicles for the city boys, and like a wildfire, so many Nigerians wanting to counter that narrative began to form to say, this is the real awakening, and they have emerged. And why have they done that? What triggered this awakening is a feeling by many Nigerian youths as they began to share that video. Across the country, young people started to realize that their energy was often being packaged for political spectacle. Their loyalty was being commercialized. Their voices were being rented. Their identity was sometimes reduced to cheering for the elite structure. And you can see the conversations in those videos. And as people, without any form of coordination across, both in the diaspora, those in the southeast, those in the south, those in the north, everybody began as if there was a meeting that was held. That is the power of social media. And naturally, people began to feel used. They began to redefine themselves. In political sociology, we call this grassroots collective mobilization. This is what Village Voice movements represent. A generation redefining its place in Nigerian political and cultural space.
How did you become the headmaster?
Well, in that coordination, we started having meetings, and
we lost. He's here, but we can't hear him, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go a little bit. We can't hear you. Can you speak again? Maazi.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. You were frozen a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe the city boys are trying to attack me. But we are not scared. We are here. We are on board. We are unafraid, and we are unapologetical, in the things we do. So I became the headmaster because the structure that we put in place here is very simple. We want to move away from where these are contract rent seekers. These are people who have, people of means, but without commensurate input. And when we started talking about how do we structure this, we agreed very simple. We should have the head instead of calling the overall coordinator. We say this person is the headmaster, and we have what we call the press secretaries. Instead of calling them press secretary or PROs or whatever the nomenclature is, we'll call them the town criers. And we began to build structures in states. Within the state, we have the state head. In the state, we also have the state town criers and the national town crier. I am the headmaster who is coordinating this both in Nigeria and in the diaspora. Know this. This is, in my view, we emerged as a result of the current political realities in Nigeria to say that the youth, the elderly, the girls, the boys, everybody. Because when we say the village boys, it does, the village boys is only by its name. It involves our mothers, our fathers, those of us who every single one of us are born in the village. It's not a matter of you, whether you live in the town, you live in the diaspora, as long as you identify yourself as someone who cannot be compromised, then you're a village boy, you're a village girl, you're a village woman, you're a village auntie, you're a village grandpa, you're a village grandma. So whatever suits you, just be part of this mobilization to say that Nigerians are awake and things must change moving from here forward.
So we say you have a structure, you have membership. What do you intend to achieve? What is the goal?
Okay, the goal is to mobilize. There is this cliche that people in the run-up of election, you see youths, you see people make noise, but on the day of election, the numbers dwindle. So the point here is to go back again to the roots and begin to tell the people why it is necessary for them to come out and actually cast their vote. I'll give an example. In the last elections that I've had, we saw it in Anambra State, where people were being paid money to vote. We don't know the party they voted for, but we saw in Agolo People were given gala and malt to vote. The question that you ask yourself is, when the government say your vote doesn't count, it doesn't matter if you come out to vote, yet they are paying you to vote. I was in Abuja during the last election. I joined the last bit of the campaign for the AMAC election, and I was an election observer on the day of the election, that Saturday. I moved around Abuja, and I think I've done a report on it. I came to our Po resettlement opposite the ShopRite. There, you saw people being paid 10,000 to vote. Now, the question you ask yourself, those who were collecting money to vote, these are not village boys. Those are those who haven't understood the essence of their vote. But the point here is that for the fact that someone is willing to pay for your vote means that your vote actually amounts to something. Therefore, why would you allow somebody to pay for your vote? Why don't we mobilize one another to come out and begin to demand and say to this government, XYZ you have promised us. Therefore, you are not living up to this expectation. We will not see you come back. Example is, it is on record, unless the president is going to deny it the way Daniel Bala, his appointee, denied the things he said in London. The president is on record that I will give you electricity. You will not pay estimated billing. If I don't do these things, do not vote for me when I ask you for a second term. Now he has asked us for a second term. Nigerians who are watching me, if you're joining me from Nigeria, do you have electricity? If you have electricity now, do you have electricity every day? Has the president lived up to the expectations that he will warrant your vote? At the beginning, you played a video of a boy who joined us from Borno State, a boy who has lived in the IDP camp for 11 years. Is this what he was promised, that he was going to go back to his home? Those who have been killed in the Middle Belt, is this what was promised to you, that those who are killing you, whether be them Nigerians or not, we don't care at any fate, but someone is still being killed? Is this what was promised to you? If you consider this, we are now mobilizing Nigerians to tell them one simple thing. If you consider all these things and you think the government of the day has lived up to its expectation, the promises made to you, that they have renewed your hope, rather, or have they sunk you into hopelessness, make that choice. We are only trying to mobilize the people to come out to make that choice. If they have sunk you into hopelessness, use your vote to make that choice. If they have renewed your hope, I mean, is a free word. Go ahead and renew their mandate. But bear in mind that when you renew their mandate with hopelessness, on that mandate you shall fall, because that mandate is already wobbly.
So, how many people do you have as members?
For now, it's broken down by states. People are meeting. I can't tell you these are, I won't want to pluck numbers, but in some states we have over 5,000 people already. In some states we are approaching 2,000 as of Friday, right? As of Friday, the last time we looked at the records. So in some states, over 5,000 already. And in some states, this weekend they are meeting and they are mobilizing. And for now, one good thing and one thing that we are trying to do is to test our strength by mobilizing for a 2 million man march per state for the 28th of March 2026. And that is going to be an epic event. So that's where the strength is.
28th of March, so it's less than 20 days.
Yes, it's in less than 20 days, or in 19 days from now. So we are counting down.
Okay. Do people have to pay to be members?
No. Nobody is paying. See, this is to test where the people are, right? This March, again, because in whatever you do, you can see where is this being anchored, right? On this, the city boys is anchored on the president of the republic, that is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. On the other hand, the village boys anchored on the former presidential candidate of the Labour Party now in ADC, that is His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi. So the Nigerians who are trying to counter the narrative of the city boys are saying on the 28th they are going to march for him across the federation.
So
it's a show of force.
So if at the end of the primaries, Peter Obi is not, because I saw some of the people on the video of Village Boys talking about Peter Obi, if he doesn't get the ticket of ADC or any political party, which may be the case, what happens to the Village Boys?
Now, I would answer the question by referring you back to what he said. He went to Agulu yesterday to pick up his membership card of the ADC, with ceremony. In there, he said that in 2027 he will be in the ballot paper, and that on that premise, that is what the Village Boys are working on. So
they don't have, that is either Peter Obi or nothing.
Well, once we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. But for now, it is him or nothing else.
Okay, we're going to bring in people who are joining. If you're in the studio, you want to be part of this conversation, turn on your camera so that we can bring you in. But before we do that, there's something I want you to comment on. You're from Anambra State, and there have been so many stories out of that state, and I'm sure you're keeping up with them. Why is the Governor Soludo destroying markets in Anambra State, the main markets in Anambra State? What's going on there?
Again, I don't think the narrative is correct.
Okay.
I don't think the narrative is correct. Being in the opposition doesn't mean you lie like my brother who was disgraced of his lies, I honestly think at the issue of the market, the close down of the main market gave the impetus, or basically was the starting point for government to start something they've been thinking how to start. They've been thinking of remodeling, rebuilding the main market. I was in Ariaria, and I don't know if my staff, if they published the video. I was in Ariaria, and I went around the Ariaria market. You would never believe that this is the same Ariaria in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, that when we go there, that is the same Ariaria. In that Ariaria market, trucks in the stores, truck can come in, offload. I mean, telling you that it's wide enough, right? So if this gives opportunity for this to be rebuilt, why not? Why I'm saying this is you can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. I recall when I was in Enugu 2024, I just came into Enugu for a meeting, and I saw Gariki. People, bulldozer were destroying things at the market. Bulldozer were, basically destroying things. And I went there. I went with my camera, and I covered people. People were crying that their livelihood were being destroyed, blah blah. But if you fast forward and go the same place today, you see that those who probably have lost, and some of the people that I eventually spoke to say, yeah, they felt pain when it was destroyed, but now they are happy that actually what the government is doing. If I take that to heart to say that Anambra State, I had gone to Anambra September 2023. I made a video from Main Market. I said that this is a disaster waiting to happen. Illegal structures everywhere. There is no single park. If I want to come to Main Market, I will park at All Saints Church and now take keke and get into the market. So you can't even drive into the market. That the government is now trying to fix it, that you're playing opposition doesn't mean I'll begin to condemn it. Yes, people will lose their shops, people will be hurt, But I do believe that at the long run, once these things are fixed, you know, I hope that he has enough time. He's going to be sworn in 2 weeks. So once these things are fixed, that people will now be happy that, you know, these things are done. So that's my candid take on it.
Okay, so one last thing about Anambra said. Let's watch this video.
Bulldozer gabago. Bulldozer bụ na nke akwa ọkụkọ ka ọ na-aga. Ịma na yesterday aka na-ekwu na esuru chịrị na akwa ọkụkọ ọkụ. Today all demolition ka abanyere. Ebe ahụ akwa ọkụkọ ji eme dibia. Today ndị Anambra State Government eburugo bulldozer wee banye. Demolition ka abanyere. Ịma na ekwuburu m mbụ wee sị na ngwongwo eji mara ha akụwachago. Nke a bụzi ma ngwongwo ma ụlọ iji alụ nya bụ iwe akwari nkwari. Biko ihe abụrụ ọṅụ ka a na-aṅụ mmadụ. Update ka m na-eweta. N'enu n'ebe ahụ unu maara unu na-eji agba oke ite. Ma oke ite o ma unu eji alụ oke ite. Ha ncha nkwari. Ihe a bụ the shrine of the most famous native doctor in Igbo land. Yes, I will say that because Anambra the famous has been demolished by Anambra State Government. Today, ihe a na-eme. Ihe a na-ekwu onye ọbụla, every youth were nke a wee mụrụ ihe. Were ihe wee mụta ihe. Na o nwere ụfọdụ ihe na-adịrọ mma igosi n'ilu akwụkwọ. Biko nụ, ka m rapụ nụ kono watch the video. Ọgwụkwa ka ọra m n'ọnụ.
So that was the home of the native doctor, Akwoko. What do you know? Because people have been saying that they were detained for a long time. I think eventually they ruled on, I think, his case. There were other ones who were still detained, and they gave him some, I think, 12 years in prison. And the government moved in immediately to destroy his shrine and his house. What is...
I think it's 11 months, not years.
Oh, months. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It will be served concurrently on those counts. Now, I know that originally I would have issues with destruction rather than reassigning, but there are times we need to have some element of shock inbuilt into a system for the system to survive, right? What we are looking at there is a case of fraud. The governor of Anambra State has said this multiple times, and I agree with him in total with this. A lot of Nigerian youths, a lot of Anambra youths are in prison in Indonesia, in Malaysia, some of them already dead, because they went to this shrine, they were told with this nonsense that I will give you, if you go to the airport, the scanner will not dictate that you have ingested cocaine and whatnot. You will be invisible, you will go. And they get into these countries, and that's it. I recall a couple of years back, I flew into Singapore. On landing in Singapore, they will give you a landing card. They will ask you, do you have any drug? Yes or no? You click, you say yeah, no. They will write, if drug is found on you, now you have said no. If drug is found on you, it is death penalty. At the bottom you sign. And some of these kids, they will think they will see this and they will read it. They will still go ahead and sign they have no drug. Because why? Someone there has told them that this nonsense you can see being destroyed here has any form of. Not only that, in the local one, some of the people caught in the camps, in the kidnapping camps, those who were their leaders in kidnapping had confessed that this native doctor gave them the charms to protect them for bullets and whatnot. Recall that the one that works like a pregnant woman called Njenje that operated in Oba, when he came out, he accused Akwa Okuko that while he was held in captive by the kidnappers, that he came in once or twice. Right? Mm-hmm. The one on Jumper. with the belly almost touching the feet. So you can, what you're seeing is that this has become a bad omen, that native doctor, that you can, you begin to think that some of these things is abnormal. One of the things I'm not even happy that the government of Soludo didn't do is, which I have forcefully mentioned it to the governor, mentioned it to the highest authority to them to do, is to make sure that every single of those spots is tested for human remains. Because if they were able to forensically prove that there is a drop of human blood in any of those spots, these men should go for life imprisonment. Because this is what is happening. How could you then tell the youth that you do not need to go work hard? You just bring what XYZ will make you rich, and we are showcasing this on the social media. Whereas people who have gone to school, people who have really have their trades learned, done their boy, are struggling to survive. And you see people, these are nothing but scammers. Is to tell those who go there to see that those things are just, as Macbeth said, it is the eye of a child that fears the painted devil. Those things are just abracadabra. Because you can see the bulldozer went in there, destroyed, and the bulldozer engine didn't knock. The thing didn't stop. And I do not want anyone to come and say, oh, this is a religious war or whatnot. It's a pure nonsense. Njenje Jesus is a Christian. He says he's a prophet. So is he not a Christian faith? But yet he engages in this nonsense, fetish activities. I'm glad. Destruction is the best thing, because I do not see any good those nonsense would have been used for. I think I support the government of Anambra State on that. It's good riddance. So those who are still intending to do more, they should know that the society cannot do. I mean, you can do your practice. You can practice your religion in peace. I still remember some of the most purest human beings I've ever come across as a child were those pagans. Ndi when Anemo Conquer, then you can see them purest, with their barefoot, but they worship the deities that they worship and they go home. Not this pollution. Go to all the waterfronts in Anambra State before the task force started doing this. You go there, you see people throwing polythenes, plastics. Some say Fanta, some do just be throwing them. I said, this mommy, whatever they drink Fanta, you could get diarrhea because the level of Fanta is too much. Anyway.
All right. Thank you so much for that information. Let's now bring in our people. They're here, and we will take turns to interact with you. I ask everybody to find your best question and comment, and then when I call on you, you do that, and then we go around. Let me start with Mr. James. Mr. James, welcome to the show.
Yeah, please kindly start with another person. I'll be with you later.
All right.
Mr. James want to pump his question, so I'm scared now.
There's something you can hear clearly, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. James. Maska, welcome to the show. Maska, can you hear me?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Rudolph. Thank you, and very good evening to you.
Thank you.
And good evening to Maazi also. So I have one comment and then a question.
Go ahead.
Should I start with the question or the comment?
Let's start with the comments.
Okay. I just want to, it's not really a pushback, but to say that, you asked me a question about journalism. And I think it's answered the question of time. Yes, to some extent, I would agree that the difference between journalism and what Mehdi Hassan did, to a large extent, a question of style. But I think there's much more to it, and I had expected him to at least say as much. My take is that our journalists are really lazy. The real difference between Mehdi Hassan and any other person, the guy did his work. He had a barrage of statements that Bala made, and he had them at his fingertips. I can put it to our guests that, look, anywhere you go and people have done enough research on you, they will disconcert you, especially if, one, you're not entirely honest, and secondly, you are not really prepared. I remember one question Mehdi Hassan, not a question, he made a statement that, look, I've seen, Mr. Bala, I've seen a video where you guys were dancing and drinking, that you were preparing for this interview. What exactly did you prepare for? Now that I'm asking you questions and you are dancing around, all you can do is raise a glass of water. That, for me, I think is where our journalists should aspire to be. We cannot wash it under the carpet and say it's a matter of style. The reality is that today, people are not as honest as when we were younger. I mean, the world has transformed so much so that you can see a video and you cannot afford to believe it. You get what I'm saying? That you don't expect anybody to come up today and just tell you, answer a question and he answered you honestly. You must, as some of us on this panel would say, you must hold his leg to the fire. This is what our journalists must learn to do. And to do that, you need to do a lot of work. Our journalists are lazy. They will ask you questions that you expect them to have told you the answer and ask you, why is it like that? No, but what do? They will ask you. And like you rightly said, you gather them under a tree one Sunday, and you know, it's like you wonder whether this one is naming ceremony they are doing, just that they're televising it, or what is going on here. You know, obviously, if I invite you to my naming ceremony, I will sit on a chair. All the other guests will be gisting. And to a large extent, you should not publicly disgrace me because you are in my house, I invited you. So some of the things that we call interview are really just like naming ceremonies. To a large extent, I think we need to agree that we are lazy. I'm not a journalist, but of course, it's a society. So I think we shouldn't wash it under the carpet, Maazi. And secondly,
brother, I agree with you. I mean, I that much you said, you know, I agree with you totally. I don't dispute that, you know.
Yeah, because like I said, today the society is not that honest. So we must learn to dig deep if you really want to get the truth. You should not, even if, for instance, I'm a parent, sometimes you have to find your way of drilling down on your kids if you really want to get out the real truth. So you cannot just take things on face value. So that's one. The part two of that, and please don't be offended, Maazi, I have deep respect for you. But you see, you mentioned also a thing of culture in our society. And I look at the two of you when you were having that interview. Mr. Rudolph, his name is simply Rudolph Okonkwo. And I was asking myself, like, why is this man adding Maazi in front of his name? And we talk about a society that we should be egalitarian. We are criticizing the person that, for instance, I could add Alhaji Maska PhD in front of my names. Why do we have to do that? Why do we do that? Maazi is just Mr. But why is just Mr.? And equally, Mr. Rudolph is equally a man. Why do we be? And then we say the society is somehow. Every young man should begin to add Maazi to his name. Sorry, I'm a bit hard on you.
No, it's fair, but that could be, you know, I can tell you why.
No, don't explain it. I look.
No, because you brought it up, it has to be explained. It has to be explained because if not,
fair enough. So these are my two comments, you know. But before I go to the question, I must commend you because I watch you a lot, and I know that whatever you do, it's against the run of the mill, and you put yourself at risk. You could easily find your way to get appointed to one of these houses or be some, what do they call it, spokesperson somewhere. You are good enough for that, but you are choosing not to do that. So I must let you know that I acknowledge all that. that I'm coming from the tangent I come from is not that I don't appreciate who you are and what you do and what you bring to the table for our society in particular. So that's the comment. So if you want to respond at this point, fine. Or you want to wait, I put the question also. That's also okay, sir.
Oh, these ones are comments only.
It's just comment, no question. It's just
this one.
That's why I said it's your explanation for the look.
No,
I was just
okay. Put your question too.
Okay.
It will now be 4 because you ever have 2.
No, my question is 1. So when you were saying that no politician would pass Mehdi Hassan's test, and you single out only Osibanjo, and when Rudolph asks you this village boys question, and you say you people are for Peter Obi, and I start scratching my head like, are you suggesting that Peter Obi will not pass that test? That you passed him over, and you said only Osibanjo will pass the test? So this is my question, sir. And I'm sorry, I'm being too hard. Sorry, sir.
No, you have to. Exactly. You don't need to. You don't need to keep apologizing.
No. Maska is being like Hassan. Yeah. That's what we have to all be like. Go ahead.
Okay. So should I go or more questions?
No, go ahead. Answer.
Okay.
Answer.
So Maska, I think let me start by the first one. The journalist, as you know, Hassan, you alluded to the fact that he did his job. Of course, yes, he did his job. You can see that also. And Daniel Bala, in his own view, also did his job, but he was, he kind of missed it, sort of. Maybe in exams, the places you probably will, from the pages you read, and the questions didn't come from those pages. So probably the lecturer started at the end of the textbook. Now, but one thing that stood out in what you said is not only that in this part of the world, people are just, when it comes to interview, they are somewhat being driven by relationship they've built over the years. Because the relationship, the family business, the family time, your livelihood is anchored on that job. Therefore, most times when, I'm not making excuses, but this is what I know, that sometimes when they engage, these are things that play in the mind. Now, you go to someone who is detached, because if we flip it, if we have someone from, I don't know, from outside Nigeria, where a journalist in Nigeria is going to interview, where he has no atom of relationship at all, he may actually be more not in style, but also the way of throwing that question. He may also sound like what Hassan has done. You take to the question, if I should, why should I add Maazi to it? I add Maazi to it not as a name, but it has a history. That when I was a student in Germany and in the language session, that in German you do not call somebody by, if your last name is Master, then I must say Herr Master. That is Herr. That is Herr Master. And in this case, they wanted to know what in our own the equivalent of that Herr, and that's Maazi. And since then, that's since 2001, it has become an appendage to a name that even when a lot of things have been written, you'll be surprised that if you search only my names, you may not find much, but if you add that, it speaks out. So for me, whether you call me only Tochukwu or you call me Maazi or you call me Ezeoke, it changes nothing. And I don't, not like when someone says, if you do not call me Senator Chief there's one, the MFR, OFN, whatever. If you don't do those appendages, right? Fine. I mean, that's, again, it's a choice, but when I look at it, it's just, you know, the way you, over time, one is being addressed and restored. There is nothing attached to that. Now, to the point when you say, when I talked about that, you see, I was talking about if when we get to this point, I looked at all the politicians that said they wouldn't survive AIDS. At that point, I intentionally actually didn't want to mention Peter Obi. I picked Professor Yemi Osibanjo, a man that there's one of the times I met him in Oxford. I asked him, what was his thought in a private conversation? I said to him, what was his thought in the last 2023 election? Osibanjo told me that he would have wished that that election was between him and Peter Obi, that Nigerians would have enjoyed intellectual debate. That was his words. Now, for me to just mention him, because I know I'm still going to, there is no need poking something that I was still going to, you know, elaborate on. So on this, I was going to talk, I have a whole show to talk about Peter Obi. So at that point, I didn't want to bring him into that conversation. But if we have to do that, I would say if we go back to the Chatham House of early 2023, the conversation is very clear. It's there in the open. We know those who assigned questions and those who took questions and did justice to that. Assuming, in this sense, that it was Hassan who was moderating that, obviously, we know those who would, if you ask them a question about insecurity, they will call one person and assign it to because they don't know what to say. And those who will tell you, this is what it is, and they will compare it to another country, and some of us will say China, or some will say Indonesia, some will say Singapore. And he's not afraid of doing that. Therefore, maybe he may have yoked you that I didn't do that comparison earlier, but in this sense, yes, he would definitely, with someone like Professor Sibanjo and Akinyumi, you know, the former ADB chairman, you know, these are people, to be honest with you, and before we got to that point, I actually explained how Obi Ezekwesili took a fantastic, you know, the same person, the same line of questioning, but Obi Ezekwesili was able to push back and say things the way they ought to be said. Thank you very much, brother.
All right, thank you, Maska. Let's
Thank you
now.
so much. Thank you, Maazi. Thank you.
Let's go to James here. Are you ready, or should I go to somebody else?
Okay, let me. Okay, give Mr. KJ the chance.
Okay, KJ, go ahead.
I don't mind. I wait. Let's hear from him.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rudolph. Maazi, Tochukwu. Okay. I don't want to call it now. I've forgotten how to call it. Ezeoke. My dear brother, you know, it's good to see you again. I appreciate what you do down there and the risk you take. Me and you, you know, we know they get plenty disagreement, but some places they share, you know. First, I will ask you a question, but then I will just say, you see, before I came into this program, I was listening to Precious, and she was dealing with the same issue that, you know, Rudolph dealt a bit, which is the issue of the traditional people and juju as a, you know, a way of life. And I'm a Christian, and I believe totally in God. I don't believe, or I do not practice juju, but I know it does exist, and that has been part and parcel of our society, our culture. There are people who are worshippers of Amadioha and all the rest, and those people coexist with us. So if we say that a governor who have so many primary schools, who have so many other things to do, who has not been able to totally deal with the issue of poverty in his locality, will leave that function and maybe to go after native doctors I think what we needed in this case, if he was a governor that is thinking ahead, is to find a way to educate his people. Like a MAMSA, like what you have public this thing, and make it people to understand and take the stories of the people from that locality who have not succeeded in this way of life and play it over the media, radio and television houses, and then discourage them. But to take them to court and then put them in prison and then come back and destroy their things, I think that's, for me, is too far. Government is going too far into the life of the people. Now, having said that, I'm coming, Maazi Ezeoke. Listen to what I'm saying. And you are friends of politicians. I know you, when I was back in Nigeria, you have plenty of political friends. You know that these people do not sleep at night. Okay, you are a journalist. You mix with a lot of them. Let me withdraw the word. You are not their friends, but you're a journalist and you speak to a lot of those politicians. Majority of them can be called native doctors by my own standard. Majority of the Nigerian politicians, and that's why their hearts are in their back. And I'm not just speaking. I'm talking about things I have seen and I know of certain individuals who are still in government till tomorrow. So what I'm saying is that it's a question of coming in the daytime to blame the people, and then at night people go back and practice the same thing you are condemning these people from practicing. So first and foremost, he has to situate it and know that your hand must also be clean. Don't pretend to say you have a clean hand and you are doing something differently. Having said that, also the issue, and I quite agree with you how you answered the Bala question. I just want to go a little bit further. You see, people say Nigerian journalists, and that's like Maska say, we're not daring. No, we are daring, my brother. You live to fight another day. I keep saying that many times. Some of you stay in the comfort of your homes. You don't know what the journalists go through. Okay, and when they are caught, majority of the Nigerians say it was Chief Ezeoke. They hear now. Don't they tell these boys since? They hear. Now you don't enter. Nobody follows you. Nobody pays your legal fees. Nobody looks for you. Nobody takes care of a family while you are incarcerated. Nobody goes to ask how these people family they feed. Okay, but all of you do your own job and go home and rest. So for a Nigerian journalist, he needs to take care both to be able to do his job and also to live, to survive, to do it the next day. Whether there was nothing Bala would have done. Bala's problem is that he thinks that he was dealing with a Nigerian journalist, the people they can shout down on, the people they can look at you and say, after all, we're going to give you a brown envelope. So who are you? Or the people they can say to, we paid your way to come to this place. So, or the people they can call your boss and say, hey, this is your boy that came here. Please don't allow him publish that story, or don't allow him air that interview. He just messed up, and that will be accepted. That is what the mindset they have. You travel a lot, Chief. You have noticed that most time when they are coming back to Nigeria, as soon as they announce we are now descending to Abuja International Airport, all of them will leave one after the other, go into the bathroom and change into the agbada. Those ones who are talking to you before you, from whichever country you are coming from, will no longer talk to you again. They assume their God status. And once the plane touches ground, they don't even talk to you. Their drivers drive all the way to the tarmac and pick them. And then you just walk. You are the one who's going to follow the protocol. They just drive off. That's the mentality that is driving Nigeria. And that mentality can't take us anywhere. And you see, you look, that guy just messed him up. In fact, he used him to slap the floor all through. And he just pitied him at one point. I felt he just said, let me just leave this guy, let me give him some space.
So my brother, what's your question? So let's
so my question here is that, first and foremost, let governance be done with some human face. It's a society that governing, they're not governing anymore. And I'm drilling down to Anambra State. Okay? Let governance be done with a human face. Don't go to and break it down because people have refused to go to this thing. Okay.
Thank you very much. Now let me say this here. Rudolph, I hope you have the Commissioner of Anambra, Commissioner of Information Anambra. I hope you have his number, Dr. Lome.
Yeah, I have. He's been on the show.
Exactly. Why I want to say this is, I didn't vote for Soludo. In the last election. I am not his mouthpiece, but I have conscience. I'm a proud Onyanambra. I'll tell you this. I am not speaking for the government of Anambra, but please, it is misinformation to let this stop at the foot of the government, of the governor. The security agents arrested Akwa, charged him to court. That is a judicial process. Akwa Okuku went to court. Now, you know, in Nigerian court, the executive didn't control the court. The court was sitting, they go, they come, they bring evidence, they call witnesses. To some point, judgment was given. Two options was given to Akwa. He took this option and took a plea bargain. I repeat, Akwa Okuko Tiwara Akinoba took a plea bargain. It means, do not jail me for 12 years that my offense attracts. I have agreed that if you give me mercy and give me a second chance, I will become an ambassador. That thing which I was doing to deceive the Nigerian youth, I will not do it again. I would go and now work and tell them that, yes, I've been scamming you. What we are doing is scam. On that plea bargain, I am also willing to let go of my shrine, not the building. Two things. The shrine is not Akwa's structure where he lives. The shrine is where you have all those spots. And I said here that my proposition when this was happening to the state is to forensically, if I was the governor of Anambra State, if it means flying people from across the globe to come and establish that human bloods are in those spots, I would do it. You know why I would do it? Two things I would do if I were the governor. I would use this as an example to start the missing persons register. We know that people in the state have been missing. We do not know, there are people that have not had closure. They don't know if their father, their aunties, their uncles that was kidnapped, if they have killed them, if they were used for ritual. We know when there are places in Osumohu that we saw, even as of last week, they will tell you organ harvest. Organ harvest is bullshit. There is nothing like organ harvest. It's nonsense. What they do is because, you know, for you to harvest an organ, if you take the heart must be beaten. It must be pumping blood. It must be preserved in order for you to take it to the hospital and to be given to another patient who needs it. But what they do is, a cucumber somewhere, sorry, I mean, it gets me angry because somebody, an idiot somewhere, sits down, makes some useless incantation, tells you, I will need a lady's private part. I will need a virgin. And they go get young child, cut off the private part. They will tell you they need the heart. They will rip off the heart. The person is dead. I will need this to prepare this charm. And they will use and they'll go and get it. Right? So if we understand that even you that is listening to me, even you that is in this room, you can be at risk that when you are kidnapped, even when you pay, someone somewhere will say they need a part and it's easy to kill you and harvest your organ. Your organ is not, when you hear organ harvesting, it's not for medical use. It is just for this nonsense called ritual. And anybody who tells me that this nonsense called ritual works, it just, come on. Which ritual did Elon Musk and those people made to make their money? Let's have some level of conversation. It really, really gets me worked up. Now, the governor himself, yes, is the governor of a state, but he wasn't the one that sent this guy to jail. It was the court. Somebody went to court. He had his lawyer. I hope you heard when the lawyer, his Akwa Okuko's lawyer, spoke to the press. He said, we accept this in good faith. So there was no way Soludo was mentioned in here. The governor accepted, his lawyer accepted that this is good enough for his client. His client accepted to now do 11 months and now say, I am going to be an ambassador. That's the part that many people are missing. Because now he has, recognized that he has been scamming people and he's been caught pants down. Nobody, until you speak to families that have lost 21-year-old who went to Oba and they said they put charm in his chest, gave him the one he gave, and ingested coke on condoms, cocaine inside his tummy, and told him to go to one of the East Asian countries, that because of that which he has ingested in his body, that he's not going to be seen. If you're the dad of that child that was deceived by this native doctor, will we be having the same conversation? Knowing that your child was deceived and that child is not coming back because that child is being beheaded and he's dead in that country of sojourn. The state sent emissaries in this is sometimes I think Abike Dabiri goes in there sometimes, just that sometimes in Nigeria we do not ethnicity and certain mistakes people make when they speak beclouds the whole thing. But if you just remove ethnicity, ethnic nonsense, and listen to some of these individuals when they interview them, one thing I have asked myself that I will do within the next 2 years is that I'll find time out of my busy schedules to go to some of those buildings, those prisons. I am promising myself to do it. Because there is an angle I want to take that is unconventional. Because all the story is, oh, this person was caught with cocaine. And everybody thinks cocaine, yes. Yes, young people want to belong because of what they see in the society. Why wouldn't they? Growing up, I named my son Chinua. My son is Chinua Ezeoke. Why did I? I named my son after a mentor, a man I was looking after. A man, Chinua Lumogo Achebe. That's a man that shaped my worldview. But would I say the same of the children that are in the same street where I grew up in the 80s? I won't. All they see is people come with bubbles, people come with G-Wagon, people just throwing money up and down. They want to belong. And in doing this, they are cajoled, they are deceived, and those that deceive them, we just have to give them a handshake. I stand here to say that I see nothing that has to do with religious war here, and I cannot be a party to creating that narrative. I have native doctors in my community. My clan is Ezedibia. I am from a clan called Umu Ezedibia in Ezinifite, and I'm proud so. Because my forefathers, before the advent of the white man, he was a native, he was a doctor, not a native doctor. Let's not make that. He was a doctor in his own right. But if need be that you now tell me that he's ripping their heart and to conjure concussions, I would say no, I would deny that. So in this case, I see what Anambra state government has done. I do not see any religious fight there. If you want to look at it as a religious fight, the one that says father of all the men's, he's a prophet, he's a pastor, he calls himself. So he's also in that. If we have people, I think we even go further. People who do miracle a lot, they shouldn't be investigated too. They say, check your phone, miracle alert. Hold on, wait a minute. Which account paid them? It's just that sometimes in Nigeria, it's just part of what we're saying. Things are not being, when we start it now, why is it? You have all the problem in this world. It is miracle alert that is your problem. But it's part of the problem. Why would you be scamming people? You know that this is a scam. Somebody stands in the pulpit, say, I've healed 100 crippled. How can you heal 100 crippled with every single clutches that you have there is brand new? Okay? How now? I have someone who is deaf and dumb in my family. I want that crusade where we can send him within and outside Nigeria. Let God touch him too. No, God did touch every other person. He reached my own person. You know, go touch him, right? Come on, who is coming who? Please, let's be very careful what we push here. This narrative that the state is fighting religious war, I honestly, I do not buy it. I do not, and I cannot. And finally, on your postulation that Bala, I say your postulation on Bala and his problem. I think Bala's problem is that of Reno and that of Femi Fani-Kayode. These three individuals will have the same problem if they go to that program. Because one of the things that has taught me also, when sometimes I speak, people say I speak tongue in cheek. I cannot speak with finality, because even when you are trying to defend someone, you think you know that this person with definite answer did not do it. Be circumvent and give a little wiggle room for yourself. But you can see in all his videos, he was definite. He was definite. He was definite. So when you now play that back again, it sounded as if you must, if you're in the opposition or if you speak for the opposition, you must be a liar. That's what it is. Because it has proven by FKK, it has been proven by Reno Omokri and him himself. Therefore, what the problem he had in that interview is not of eloquence. Bala is a first-class brain. I said that again. But what he found himself in, the places he was digging, he already dug the grave before the match even started. I yield. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Maazi. Ezeoke. I can't find KJ. I don't know what happened to him, but let's go to James. James, next.
Rudolph, are you anti-women here? Sorry, I'm looking at a beautiful woman there. Why don't you call women up?
If he's from Neri, I know Ify very well. She prefers.
I did not ask whether you know her, but I'm just wondering why.
She prefers to come later. She prefers to come later when summarize everything.
I don't mind. Give Ify my chance.
Mr. Rudolph, if there's anybody at the back, you can put me at the background and put other people. So
yeah, there's nobody. When I see anybody, I will. If I need that space, I will let you know. I will do that.
If you please be kind enough to take my chance, huh? I come after you.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, Maazi.
Yeah, Ify, good day. I advocated for Ify. Yeah.
Papudoka actually knows me very well. So, but anyway, thank you for that. Back to Hassan's interview with Bala. The truth of the matter is that there is nothing to defend.
Exactly.
You know, he was caught up in his lies, so he doesn't know how to defend it. The only thing I see different is that had it been his saying, it would have been a shouting match. Okay. Maybe cursing one or two words indirectly, but he was just professional enough. There is nothing different Hassan did, different from what he's saying. Sorry.
Rufai
Husseini, usually do all the time. And likewise, Charles and Agora, but Charles, I think he does it politely, he will throw it at you, directly. See, the truth of the matter is that I don't think our journalists are bad, compared to the way people are talking about them. It's just that because this guy is a foreigner, that's why we were able to, sit down here and still be talking about this interview. Had it been he was Husseini or one of our own, maybe Shane, we won't even have a conversation. We'll be like, come on, that is the usual thing. But he put him on this spot, was able to disgrace him, and prove to him that you are caught up in your life. So enough of this. Defend it.
If do you remember the Onokbasa episode?
Oh yeah, he's dead now.
It's a similar thing. But that didn't trend much as this. But it's similar thing because Rufai was giving him back to back.
Yes, that's no different anyway. But shout out to Rufai Husseini. We'll give you your flowers, honestly speaking. He's the only reason why most of us always watch Arise. And I know a lot of people will agree with me, in as much as sometimes, like you said, he will use the word, I put it to you, as if he's in a court, people criticize him because of his style of journalism, because he didn't go to school for that. They always bring up this issue, oh, he read animal science or something, zoology or something like that. But the question or the thing you will say about Rufai, does he know how to do the job? Honestly, he is the best in Nigeria, in my own opinion. I don't think anybody, Shehu is biased. I don't think not Rufai, Abbas should sit down. So I don't know any other person that just, can come closer, no matter how much you don't like Rufai, but he is very honest, he's very truthful, and he understands that this is what is going on in Nigeria, and truth be told, let us expose our government. My question is with Soludo. I hate to say this, please. I hate to say this, please. When he started threatening the traders, because I grew up in Onitsha, I have siblings there, and when he started threatening them, because when I talk to them, they will be like, "It's not that we don't want to go back to the market. It's just we are asking him to provide security for us on a daily basis until this thing stabilizes." But he doesn't want to do that because apparently he was looking at how much he's gonna spend in providing security for these people. I might be wrong, but you're not gonna like it, but that's my opinion. I call Soludo an educated MC Oluomo, because you cannot tell me there is no difference from the way he spoke to these people, threatening them. I mean, everything, the shenanigans he was doing. I mean, I don't think it's right. In a civilized society, he dare not do that. And these are the people that go outside the country and see how things are run. But once, like my brother KJ said, once they enter that flight and they say, "Welcome to Nigeria," everything about them changes. So I don't think I have respect for him. I'm sorry to say that. I was in Nigeria in November. I stayed in Nigeria for 1 month. And in this issue that Soludo is doing this, I didn't really see any much he did. I hate when people come here and campaign, "Oh, he's building roads." In 2026, we are still talking about building roads. In 2026, we're supposed to be talking about bringing investors to Anambra State. So even the roads, every governor, every government that comes in power, these are the things they will tell us. We are building roads. We're gonna give you electricity in 2026 after how many years of independence? Look at Namibia. Namibia has a female president. Look at other African countries. I mean, they put up the challenges of all the time, every time. Something on social media, call Nigerians name, giant of Africa for mouth. You don't even have you only use a generator, and the noise will be so loud that somebody can't even hear conversation. So my question is this: what do you think that can happen, or what do you think we can do better? Because as I see Nigeria, since I grew up there, I have never benefited anything from the government. I can't tell you one thing the government has ever done for me. This issue of tax is mind-boggling for me. But how can you tax people that you haven't provided anything for? How do you think we're gonna go about it?
I don't know how to say this. I think, please, others that will come, because I don't want to be sounding as if I'm now a spokesperson for the governor of Anambra State. I'm only a citizen who has a microphone and who think in line, if the government does something that I think is right, why should I criticize? Because the videos here, they only called Rudolph. Bring that video. See him. The other time, is he lying here? He's lying. Then everybody will now say, see, Maazi Ezeoke, he's been given the Bala treatment. Please, I don't want anybody to give me the Bala treatment. Hence, I cannot lie. But I think you have a point. There is something I have noticed with governance in Nigeria. Government in Nigeria changes people. Government in Nigeria changes people. There are things you will think educated people shouldn't do, but they do it. I have also found out they don't do it out of their own volition, but out of the fact that the system, those who operate the system will tell you, Oga, this is how these things has been done. And there isn't much change you could do. Even if you're trying to do, you can. Example is when P2B wanted to do things differently. He came in, they say, oh, this 400 and something thousand, so 740 million to rebuild a bond government lodge. He said, why would you do that? We can do this with direct labor at 8 million. He thought it was in the private sector. He goes ahead and does it, and he's impeached. But you know that no matter how whatever anybody thinks, that impeachment and actions afterwards, also, he's a human being. He could be affected. He's now playing, safe, playing politics. Because people say, oh, he doesn't go here, he doesn't go here. But now he's everywhere. Because it's those little talks that people give you, even when you think you have different mindset, they somehow affect how you govern. And Soludo is not an exception, right? But one thing we have to say is that what you alluded to is the issue of sit at home. Sadly, I am the wrongest person to ever discuss issue of sit at home, because for the last 4 years, if you Google it with my name, what I call it is the madness called sit at home. And my analogy has not changed. We went to Anedo and we went for a meeting with your Igwe Orizo. And I argued with Igwe out of annoyance. I left Igwe's palace in Nnewi and I went home. I called all my children, I put them in one room and said, you won't be eating every Monday. If I do this, Igwe must feel it. Igwe is in his house, he's taking his palm wine every morning. He doesn't care. If my children die, he doesn't care. Obasa here, he doesn't know. So that's my analogy of the sit at home. At some point, again, it is unfair. It is very unfair to the government to say the government woke up one day and stopped it. No. When Soludo did what he did, I say, if we start from today, we started late, but we started right. I argue that Soludo started that thing 3 years late. Peter Mba was elected the governor of Enugu State, sworn in on 29th of May 2023. Same 2023, Peter Mba stopped sit at home in Enugu. But Soludo's been there for over 3 years. He was dilly-dallying. Are you aware, when people say these things are not right. Are you aware? People thought, in the north, they give them amnesty. Are you aware that Soludo gave amnesty to those in the bush, those enforcing sit at home? How else would somebody before how else would somebody do it? Over 3 years, you've been begging, you've been pleading, you've done everything. In my view, there was money, one person, I don't know, something skill. Professor Chidod Kalu headed the committee with Onyeka Onwenu and Charlie Boy as members. Those who looked into the remote cause, the immediate cause, the aftermath, what led to this mess. They had a report. And part of that report, Soludo dilly-dallied, was begging. How can we come? Soludo went to America, said, those who are kidnapping people in our state are our people. And people are getting angry. Did he lie? If you are kidnapped, all the kidnapped victims that I have spoken to, Ndi kidnap or have Ndi, but they are Igbo people. December 2024, my maternal cousin, 3 of them were kidnapped on the 29th of December. Who kidnapped them? Igbo people in Ezinifit. 2nd of February, my immediate cousin was kidnapped just driving into the compound. Who kidnapped them? Last, something is building up. We are, criminals hid under, we sit at home, don't come out. Criminals. In my view, these are no longer agitators. They are just criminals. At some point, the government cannot share space with that level of people of underworld. If you keep sharing space with them, it shows the government is weak. at some point, the government must be able to draw a line in the sand and say, this nonsense must stop. So you provide security. Do you know that people in my own family, people will tell it is now used to us now. We use it now as our Saturday. No, you don't. You can't use it as your Saturday because there is business culture. People before now, and do you know the madness calls it out on what it has cost us? Even now that we are stopped, it will take over 5 to 10 years if we ever recover, because people who live outside Nigeria, who live Cameroon, they normally travel on Sundays. They travel Sundays, they come and they sleep over. Monday morning they start shopping. But now they either go to River State or they go to Asaba, that is Delta State. Because your own state, that means if they travel the day, because Sunday is already a rest day, they travel that same day anywhere. So that means they'll have to go and pay hotel in another place. And that 30,000, 40,000 hotel that individual might pay might be the profit margin in that trip. And he's going to spend it on a hotel. What do you do? At some point, the state must liberate the people. So in my view, we can criticize Soludo for so many other things, but on this particular one, I do not falter him on that, because he gave them too much leeway, in my view. He gave them more than they deserved. We are now seeing what is happening in the Mother Valley. Next week, I'll be having an interview with the guy called the Jealous Speaks, right? In my state of the Igbo nation, the videos that I have seen there, you ask yourself, why are we this wicked? How can you kidnap your brother? Bought a car from Lagos, came to the state, you kidnap him, took his car, killed him. I mean, let's not even go there. And all this linked to one thing. Therefore, sorry, I don't know anybody. People can disagree, but on this, I think the state at some point had to do something to stop this mess. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Maazi and Ife. Let's go back to James. Maazi, do you want to take multiple questions from different people? We answer them together, or we continue this way? I know that whichever one works for you better, I'm okay with that.
Sorry?
I said whichever one works for you better, I'm okay with that. I'm saying, do you want to take multiple questions from?
Yeah, we can take multiple questions, but I've been rid of some of this money. I mean, get them.
Yeah, don't worry.
Just I've been panicking because James been rigmaroling, firing his, on a peako. I think when he will shoot me, whether I will survive it. Okay, James, can you shoot me? Let me know whether I will survive, Biko.
I will be interested in shooting films, not human beings. Actually, I don't keep the company of soldiers, let alone shooting human beings. Thank you very much for coming.
Your question, sir.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment and ask a question, one-sentence question.
Yes, please, sir.
This issue of Mr. Bala, who disgraced himself, it has led to our chastising Nigerian journalists. Are Nigerian journalists better than their foreign counterparts or not? It's a very thorny question. I mean, it's a difficult question to answer. When I was in Form 2 in Nigeria, Form 2 in the secondary school, I was crazy enough to attempt reading Wole Soyinka's The Man Died. It was way above I could not comprehend what he was writing about. But when I was in Form 3, I read Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart. I understood the message he was driving at. Now, who is the greatest, Achebe or Wole Soyinka? To me, they are both giants, literary giants. Because Achebe is writing for a class of people, while Soyinka is also writing for a different class of people. If the the Nobel Committee the Nobel Committee, they are well-read men. Let me put it that way. That's why they awarded Soyinka the prize. But if you take the quality of Achebe's work into consideration, is equally as good as Wole Soyinka. But because those men who awarded Soyinka the prize do not see things from his perspective, he was not considered. Those who matters to him, like, okay, Things Fall Apart has sold millions of copies all over the world, translated to so many languages, whereas the man died. I doubt if Soyinka sold up to 500,000 copies. So that shows that they are both good in their own ways. So that is how it is. But however, Nigerian journalists, in my opinion, we are not fair enough in assessing them, because the entire Nigerian education system has collapsed. It's not only journalism. Look at the military boys we have these days, generals who know nothing about warfare, medical doctors, accountants, actually what I call senior advocates of nuisance, the lawyers. Compare the lawyers we have today to people like Chike Ofode and Ayo Erikefe, Rotimi Williams and co. I mean, the entire education system has collapsed completely. So it's not the journalist that caused the problem. So this is how I see it. And if we are lucky enough to get a few journalists who are good enough to distinguish themselves, like Hussein Rufai, we need to give a pat on the back. So that is that. My question is just one sentence question related to what I've said. Nigeria is beyond redemption. That is my question.
But that's a statement. You said Nigeria is beyond redemption. So what was? I struggled to find it, or did he cut off?
Yeah. He wanted to know whether you agree on it.
Oh, if Nigeria is beyond redemption.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that your question?
Yes.
That's a big one, and that's a tall order. If I agree that Nigeria is beyond redemption, Nigeria is faltering. Nigeria isn't working in so many ways, especially those of us who have tested lives outside Nigeria. However, I do not think that there is just a simple way of just fixing it. You know why I say this? I'll take you this route. I know many people watching now would have people who say, hey, break Nigeria, just break Nigeria. I asked someone, if you break Nigeria, how do you go? Say break Nigeria into two, south and north. That's again too simplistic. Others will say break Nigeria to ethnic nationalities. Again, too simplistic. Because you have over 285 ethnic nationalities. Some say break Nigeria into 6 zones. It will work for the southeast and it will work for the southwest, but it won't work for others. Not until recently, November last year, I held a meeting with the Middle Belt people. We interrogated the propositions by Dr. Akin Fapohunda, who proposed that Nigeria should be broken down into 6 regions. And they look at the document, they say, no, it's not going to work for us. Something struck me. I asked them a question. What is the identity in the Middle Belt? I said, this language, Hausa. He said, no, that shows you're ignorant. That they have their own language. I said, wow. What is the identity? The only thing all of them, their leaders collectively could tell me that is the identity unifying them is religion, Christianity. Now, how are you going to do that? You come in some states, you have them, the same people, but religion. If you come to Borno, for instance, Southern Borno and Northern Borno, the same people divided by religion. Now, some of us in the South who does not have the same problem they have in the Middle Belt, because we are talking about Nigeria is not working, and so many of us will say quite break it, just break it, and everybody will go home because it favors us. But what of others? Some will now tell you that the reason why they are not actually supporting some of the things happening is because that if you break the system, that the South act as the balancing pole for their survival. Until you come close, you won't know. If you remove it, they are dead. So the question is, are you going to just remove something to hurt the others? Are you going to be balancing it up to what time? To what end? It's a question of the chicken and the egg. My candid opinion is, when people talk about restructure Nigeria, I say, to what? It's just a simple cliche. Oh, we will restructure Nigeria. I say, well, until you put something on the table, we will see. I would always want to refer us back to the 783 pages document produced in 2014 called the Confab Report. Therein, I see a starting point for a reimagining of Nigeria. If you understand the context of Nigeria also from or its importance in the global scene, you may also not be a proponent that the only single thing in the Black continent that could, over time, if things work, be a superpower within the region. Why would you just, kill it? So it's neither here nor there. Is Nigeria, to your question, is Nigeria working the way it ought to? I would say no. Anybody who tells you that Nigeria is working must be benefiting from the government and not genuinely, must be putting his or her hands in the cookie jar. Nigeria is not working, but can Nigeria work? Of course, yes. With the right leadership, the right change of mind, the right attitude, even the current structure we have, I repeat, with the right mind, because if you look at it, some states are beginning to work or having some semblance of working. Some states in Nigeria. I don't want to mention any. I'm not doing advert for any, but some of us will know. So if some states are beginning to have semblance of working, it means even within these something is working. But if we have the right, because and we haven't imported different type of people, because there are certain FCT ministers, when they were there, things worked. Nigerians didn't change. We didn't bleach them, and we didn't inject bleach, or we didn't swallow bleach like American president once suggested during COVID, right? No, nothing. It's just the same people. With the right attitude, we can. So I hope, I know you said that I didn't, but I hope that answers your question. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. At one point, we are going to take a break. So, Maazi, I'm looking up whenever you are interested in taking a break, we can. But let me go to Tony. Tony, maybe after you will take a break and then continue. Tony, you're next.
Greetings, Dr. Damages. Greetings, Maazi Ezeoke. I missed you and the palm wine and pepper soup plus ofensala and popako that Dr. Damages prepared for you last year when you came to New York.
I never should have finished.
Well, hope to catch you some other time when you come. I'm glad to see you. Greetings, viewers, and greetings, everyone on the panel. My question is very, very simple. I saw that you were very excited when a group of politicians came and relaunched the coalition that became ADC. My question is has that excitement evaporated? That's my question.
I would do like Bala. When and how? I reported it.
We can find the video.
Hold on. I want the video. When did I say that? Can you give me the date? Which media? I had my staff members in Enugu the day the event happened. I wasn't in Enugu, so they reported it. My face didn't show, so I don't know how I got excited. I don't know whether reporting my company reporting something translates me being excited. Now, but on the other hand, after the 2023 election, some of us sat down. We did a calculation that says, what is the better way of taking out? Now we have an incumbent. It was easier in 2023 in the sense that it could have gone either way. Some of the things we came up with was for us to have the level of coordination in order to match madness for madness, fire for fire. You need a coalition of the good, the bad, the ugly. If you only want to have the sense, there is no sense in politics. If you only want to have those sense, those who sanctimonious behaviors to go grab power, then you can go home and sleep. You must be ready. If somebody choke you, you was up. If you want to snatch that ballot box, I will tell you that I will snatch you. We have to get to that point, right? So, and the only way you can do that is that you are able to get the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you want just to have the good, it's not going to work. So you must get everybody in one place to say, guys, if we want to rescue this thing. Growing up, there is this fantastic oral story that will be told that a maiden was kidnapped and taken to a foreign land, and the father wanted to go rescue her. The father needed to have a canoe, a carpenter, a thief, a kidnapper, just all manner of people that once they go in, this happens, you need this person, once there's other happen, you need the other person. So for me, when the ADC came in, and you look at, you have veterans in politics there, you have people like, you say again, politics is not about who you like or you hate. If it's about who you like or you hate, Buhari and Tinubu will never have met. Two opposite, because Buhari was, whenever you mention Tinubu's name, it was like he would just leave the iron for you. But at some point, they wanted to take out Jonathan. Everybody needed to lower their ambitions, and they met. If you talk about the coalition, for the coalition to work, of course, you had people who were in the NPDP who has the capacity to neutralize what the weaker camp, their own madness, because they have the ability to have madness. Then we have us who, if we say make we go chapel, go pray, and if they pray now, we go to pray too, because we don't get strength. But you understand my gist. So that's, whatever you call it, excitement, was to say that when you look at everybody coming in, because let me tell you, just what is happening to El-Rufai. You can hate El-Rufai, but the guy he's got iron balls. He can say things that many people in that place cannot say. He says it, and maybe some will say, because the one he said now, that's why he's where he is. But he will come out, and he's not going to stop. There are things he can do that many people won't. So you need those individuals, and that is that coalition. It happens everywhere in the world, right? It took someone who many think that he wasn't stable to put America where they are today. But you see, it's a coalition of the orange hair people.
All right.
So that's me answering you that question.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Tony. We take a break now. When we come back, we go to Femi, Igbo Basics, Okija, and the rest. Again, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for hanging with. welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for staying with us. We're having a conversation with Maazi Ezeoke, who is got a new position recently as the headmaster of the Village Boys Global, not just in Nigeria, all over the world. So I think at this point we invite Femi for his comments or question. Femi, you're next.
Good morning, good afternoon, Maazi.
Femi, good day.
Yes, sir. So, in thinking about democracy the way it is, prior to even Western democracy, which Fela thinks it's a case of us being taught nonsense, even African societies and societies around the world always had their own form of inbuilt, inherent democracies. My question is, in the face of the fact that even in the Western world, namely in the likes of democracy and of the USA, where democracy itself, the traditional way, or the way they may have adopted it, seems to be failing. And with the fact that we're such a multicultural, multi-dynamic, multi-ethnic, multi-religious country, and in Africa generally, because it transcends Nigeria, I wonder what your take is in terms of how it can actually be structured to work for a country like Nigeria. It may not necessarily be the Western form of democracy, because in my opinion, I feel that even going through the motion and trying to do 2027 is still going to be the same thing. What have you ever had this thought before? And if you have, what would you suggest if you had the power in terms of trying to, structure things in a way that it would work for our own local environment? Otherwise, what's the point of this democracy anyway?
Thank you very much, Femi. As a thinking people, I would be lying if I say that I haven't, as a student of political science and economics, I would be lying if I tell you that I haven't considered options. Let's take the Chinese option, for instance, where meritocracy gets you up the ladder. And it has been proven that the Chinese model is apparently shaming the Western democracy, because if you misbehave and you commingle state resources, you know where you're headed to. And if you work so hard and you have a clean record, you are likely to go up the ladder. Having said both, I come back to the motherland, the African continent. A place I know very well is the Igbo political structure. Not in the democracy in the sense you know about it. People argue that the Igbos were Democrats before the Greeks. But I do give us always a pointer. I go to my village and my kinsmen meeting. We deliberate, we argue, and we ask the chairman to summarize. And time again, whenever the person who is presiding summarizes, there's almost no opposition. We don't vote. But he summarizes, he takes into account what everybody had said, and we make progress. Then I keep asking myself, why is that so? It's something that is homegrown, inbuilt in these people. They've understood how it works. They have understood structures. They have understood the place of the elders, the place of the diokbas and diokbalas, and the place of the age grade, and the place of ndins and the titled men in the society to work. Now, just oppose that. The challenge we will have is, if I take that system because it works in this place and take it maybe to the, south, or north, it's not going to work. It becomes an imposition. Therefore, if I have that at the back of my mind, I should be thinking we are in Nigeria that has multi layers of government in various systems. In the north, I know when one man speaks, one man is being listened to. In the states, everybody listens to it. It works, but it wouldn't work in my place. In other places, it may work, but in other places, it won't. So, if there is any way Nigeria at some point will get to a point where, yes, we have a central government for the ease of, interacting with the international world, but at the sub-regional level or at the sub-ethnic level, that they have their own system of governance that they agreed with. It mustn't be, do you understand? It mustn't be what, I see no reason why probably Zamfara should be practicing the same thing with Bayelsa if it doesn't work. I hope you follow my gist here, right? So that it's at the larger scale, we can have something to interact with other parts of the world, but at the grassroots where the real governance is, let everyone take that approach that suits them. Because you have to know that Nigeria is a case of multiple nations into one, multiple entities into one. Yes, we are brought together by the virtue of the amalgamation, but also knowing that these entities are different, right? They're all different. They speak different languages, operate differently, they have different belief system, they have different governance structures. It's aside the noise of the Abuja noise. If we ever get leadership that think outside the box, one of the things the leadership that think outside the box must do is to know that governance must be, segmented, left from what is happening at the top layer, and also at the bottom layer, let the people decide how they want to govern themselves. I mean, that's my 2 cents to that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Femi. Let's go to Igbo Basics and see what he has for us. Welcome.
Good evening or good afternoon. Never mind my voice. To Maazi Ezeoke, I just wanted to say thank you.
Greetings, brother.
Thank you again. And I qualified with the fact that for every man or woman at any given point in time in life, whatever you are doing is a sum total of who you are, what you came with to this life. You pass through and you move on. So I'm very appreciative of the work you've been doing for those of us who are not on ground now. So I just wanted to say thank you. And I also want to remind you that the Ezokes of Amici are still waiting for a little bit of an explanation from you. And I would not hesitate to say that when an Iroko falls in Ezeoke, in Amici, that the grounds will shake in your own village. So maybe that will be the time that you will also unveil yourself the opportunity to be able to answer the questions that they asked you at that roadside where we met. The reason why I wanted to thank Maazi Ezeoke is that for him to have taken a time out to look for me, to come out for me, somewhere in between, in a place where we went for a burial in Anambra State. And that was my only time and the only opportunity to have gone to Amici and in Nobi in Anambra State. So for somebody to have come out for me, I was very, very grateful to that. And then moving on to our purpose of today, I will not hesitate to address directly the use of Nigeria, because I say at this stage in life, what are you going to give to us? What am I implying here is this. The Sacred Heart High School of Aba, they will be holding their annual event somewhere in San Francisco sometime this year. One of them had called on me to explain what happened in 1974. Should oblige me. And it all boils back down to what is happening both currently, and it links it to the issue that we were discussing. First, you talked about area market. I'm an Aba boy. I grew up in Aba. You didn't talk about the Koha market. You haven't had the opportunity to go to the Koha. These are the facts. And you mentioned what has happened in our area and what you saw for yourself and what's happening in Onisha market and what it should be. And then you went on to talk about the saga of the Akwakoko, or whatever it is called. I will link that back to what I call the Njenje. There was the year 1996, was 9th of November 1996, that I spoke to him at the Robert Trich Hotel here in Newark, New Jersey. And he linked it up to the Tokoto saga. And I'm talking about what you were describing as to what happened to the Akwakoko or Okite, whatever their name is. I'll bring it back down to addressing the youth of Nigeria and also the adults of Nigeria. Destiny. Every human being comes with a destiny. You can give away your akaraka if you so desire. You don't know any better. Along the road, you can give away your akaraka. And don't come asking us what happened, because your eyes were clear when you gave it up, gave it away. Or maybe some people cajoled you into giving away your destiny. By that, I'm saying, whatever happened to the Okite, the Akwakoko, the rest of them, it goes back down to Garagara. Garagara in the sense that in Aba where we grew up, we have always had what we call look me well, this one na five. If you take this one, you win. If you take that one, you lose. There has always been voyeurism, and it will continue long after we are gone. But if you come in reality as to who you are, I don't think you have nothing to fear. If you travel the path that God has created for you, you will live long and you get to your destination. But if you want to do a swan-like end and get rich quick, you may end up at the hands of Utokoto, or the hands of Okite, or the hands of any of these people. Why am I saying that? When you talk about this thing called it's not even Karaga, it's beyond Wayo. Reason about this, and you realize that Kamalo, if for those of you who know what Kamalo is, Kamalo didn't build a big mansion. Doctors of those days, they did not build, a few of them built something. But the places where the reality or the actual truth is in the heart, and I go back to letting you know that, once again, I am a bushcraft practitioner. Whatever you may think in your head, the answers are there. But if you think that the answers are in the place where somebody promises you'll be invisible, and you go to Singapore and you come back with whatever, it's a lie. It is a lie. For that reason, the youth of Nigeria, the adults of Nigeria, look me well. The Garagara, where would they do those things? Now that we are grown, when we were 20, we felt invisible. That was why we could go to Aba Sports Stadium and Somatol several times, and people would think that we had automobile. We didn't have anything. All we had was what God has given to us, which is the strength. These days you can diagnose it to be anything you want to diagnose it. But the fact remains that if you remain true to yourself or who you are, you will walk through this life, except if you want to talk, if you want too much, you can talk, and then you end up in a situation where you cannot be content
If you have not been to anything, I have been to one. Man past man, iron they cut iron. That is in Aba. In the process of we trying to think that we are going to win a football match at secondary school people. We did all that. So, but the truth is this: there is no automobile anybody is going to make for you that is better than selecting good team, good players that will go out there and defeat whoever the opponents are. The 1996 Olympic winners in Atlanta, they didn't have any automobile. They went there with a good team, and Nigeria won the gold medal against invisible teams. So, please, for anybody who thinks that Wayo is going to get you anywhere, think twice before you dump into what you don't know. We are some of those that you would think we are the Abala. Because in those days, you were talking about Fanta. In those days, people would go and concoct, place their Fanta and take money and do everything on the roadside. We, because of our nature, we come to that place and we say, these people say, it is us, Jomo Abala, that these people have made this medicine for. And we will look at the Fanta. If ants have not entered it, we'll just clean the thing and drink it and say, so the people will come back the next day, they'll say, yes, the gods have taken our sacrifice. So for Nigeria, as we see it, including in Bala or whatever his name, Nigeria is a situation right now that Nigeria is what I would call, Maazi said he was passing through the milk factory, when he passed through the milk factory. Nigeria is in a situation where Nigeria has breast milk, but Nigeria is right now talking on pause. Think about that for 1 second. With everything that Nigeria has that has been given to it. But never mind that when your president is held by the blocs, you're going to begin to speak, yes. What do you want me to sign? Yes, because they hold him on the blocs. When we have others who you can't hold on the blocs, you may remember us. You may take us out in any other way, but you're not going to take us out based on the fact that you're holding us on the block. So, Maazi Ezeoke, welcome back. I just wanted to thank you. And by thanking you, I also wanted to ask you, how far with the current dispensation of things, because I saw you in Abuja, we followed you, we have fast on you, and we can solidly say we are appreciative of every effort you are making on the ground. Now, the person where there for war front, that's the person who can tell you where the bullets are flying. And you are truly in the war front, risking your life to bring us the truth and nothing but the truth. And just like I said to Maazi Okonkwo, are you going to run away from your shadow? Because some people were suggesting last time that you should be able to do some other thing. And I said, can you run away from your shadow? I don't think so. So, Maazi Ezeoke, the question of the next election, which is 2027. You have mentioned about what they have done so far. Where do we go? Because some of us have kept our bullets, we've kept our ammunitions down, including things like Foundation for Democracy Initiative, which we put up for that. I hear you talking about the village boy. Of course, the people from the village should always be stronger than the people from the town. If the people from the village can adhere to the fact that they are the people who are on ground. So with that said, this city boy movement and the village movement, which you are the headmaster, I'm glad to hear about you being a headmaster in that area. Where do we go? And let's not talk about 40 million ballot movement, because people will talk and talk and talk. Where do we go from there? Because we'll follow your example to say, where will we go?
All right.
2027.
Thank you, Igbo Basics. You had about 20 minutes to talk. I thought you would.
And many questions, and now you can see the reason why I talk that way.
I thought you would promote Zebediah's book, but you didn't. But that's okay. No, not this.
You are looking for trouble, because when you're asking for that, here is Zebediah's book you're asking for. That book will be released April 30.
2026. And it was in the process of going for that book with Zebediah, visiting in Nodi, that I ended up meeting with Maazi Ezeoke. And I'm quite sure he's fully aware of what's going on. So now you ask for it. The book is ready, but it will be out, and it's going to come out in four forms. It's going to come out in a hard copy. It's going to come out in a paperback, 9x6 and 5x8, and also come out in an ebook. And later on, we will give you, by the grace of God, we will give you what you call an audio book. My son said it took more than 40 years to get this book done, but it is done.
All right. Thank you so much. Maazi, welcome back.
Yeah, my brother, Igbo Basics, thank you very much for that. I just go straight to the question you asked. 2027. I said 2027 will be much clearer between end of April and end of May. That is, that will be the time of the highest politicking in Nigeria, and that will be the deciding moment. So anyone who is interested in the 2027 election, if you ask me, you have to do two things. Now, between now and end of next month, please, especially those of you in the diaspora, call those at home, let them go register, get their PVC. If they are joining a political party, if they are, for instance, want to become a member of the ADC, they can just go to the website, adcparty.ng, I believe. And the first page you will see is where it says, put in your NI. If you put in your NI, it will pull up your details. You confirm and just select where you are likely to, where you will be voting from. That is your polling unit and your ward and local government. It doesn't take 2 minutes to do, and you get your membership card ahead of that. The second thing is for those who do not have their card, that is INEC card or PVC registration, they can go to INEC website and register and pre-register that. Even if you're not in Nigeria, do that. Whenever you're now flying, you can just go and do the rest and collect the physical card. That is on 2029. Then the other, why we say this is if we come to the point that the parties, for instance, the ADC decides to go for direct primaries, that's only those who have registered will now have to vote in that primary and vote for their candidate of their choice, so that you will not be left out. You should be able to, on your own, vote for that individual whom you believe would be able to do better than the current government. Now, on the Village Boy movement, I had said it before. The Village Boys movement, at its core, the Village Boys is asking Nigerians to recalibrate its priorities. Nigeria, as you all know, was not built by applause. It was not built by Igbo traders who started business from nothing, or those who were even given 20 pounds. It was not built by Yoruba entrepreneurs who built industries from grief, nor the Hausa Fulani traders who sustained historic trade routes, middle belt farmers who fed the nation, the Niger Delta communities who carried the weight of our natural resources. The real strength of Nigeria has always been the decentralized initiative, not the centralized patronage that we have. So here we are saying that we are asking a very simple question. How do we strengthen local economies? How do we empower communities? How do we move from performative loyalty to real productivity? Just opposing it to the City Boys movement, where you see that access to power, patronage to power, and some that are being coerced because of their business investment, that if you do not do this, will crumble your business. I mean, that's what we know. Some of them are actually caught between the Red Sea and the Hard Rock. Therefore, the village boys movement are saying we are before the city. Every one of us is a local boy. As if I may borrow the words of my good friend Rudolph Okonkwo here, who always want to use the Ubuntu philosophy, say we are here.
You are because we are.
Yeah, you are because you are. So in that sense, is the philosophy that tells us that we are collectively as a people, and as a result of our collectiveness, we can make a decision that would affect us collectively. And 2027, as Ibo Bezi says, is fast approaching, is around the corner. The decision we make in 2027 is going to either help us make progress in the next 4 years up to 2031 when we'll have another opportunity, or for us to go back and wind and gnatch our teeth. I recall before being in Nigeria, a night before May 29th, I left Hilton Hotel in Abuja, trying to get to the Eagle Square. Coming out there, everywhere was jam-packed. The military, because I was thinking I could go get some coverage for my platform. And the soldiers couldn't allow me go in there, a place I normally drive every evening. I turned. There is a petrol station in front of Hilton at Aguironsi street or road. And I stopped there. I recall vividly, I bought fuel. I filled up my tank. I paid 3,850 naira that day, that night, a night before the swearing in. That was on the 28th of May, 2023. That same vehicle, if I have to fill my tank again, I spent over 50,000 naira. I mean, that's how ridiculous things has become. And these are as a result of the choices we make, right? So the choice we make again is either going to mar or make us. Some of us are already crying, talking about tax, talking about this. Of course, I said, bring it on. That taxes are going to open our eyes and make us become responsible citizens. You see, the reasons we allow these people, these cucumbers and carrots there, to use those, humongous SUVs that they bought for 190 million naira is because we did not pay for them to buy it. Had it been that they bought that with our sweat and our taxes, and in our anger, we should have been making the decision if they will ride it on the road or they take it off road. But anyway, that's where we are. 2023 had gone, 2027 is here, and is offering us another opportunity to either do things differently or go back in the old trajectory and continue with the money. I yield. Thank you.
So are you aware of the ADC-DN Americas?
What?
Igbo Basics, sorry, we have only 2 minutes left.
So
I just asked if he knows about the ADC.
No, I don't, but we can take that offline, Igbo Basics, please.
Okay.
So
all right. So
thank you.
Thank you, Igbo Basics.
Thank you, sir.
Let's go to Okija. Okija, welcome to the show.
Good day, everyone. Rudolph, are you hearing me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Just a side commentary on the title, and I don't know if anyone has seen Ruben Apati. Like when you come to his show and you say Ruben Apati, and he will be like, Dr. Ruben Apati is Dr. Ruben Apati. So just people little mind. I don't know what Nigerians. It's only Nigeria that I don't know people who live in Saudi Arabia or people who go to Mecca, like come. I don't know why they are not Alhaji, but if you're Nigerian, goes to Mecca, comes back with Alhaji. I don't know where you see other foreigners, Americans that go to Hajj, they are not Alhaji. It's crazy. Nigeria is crazy. You have people that answer engineers. I don't know. When I was small, I thought engineer was academic title. I didn't know engineer is not an academic title. And you see people now answering pharmacist, accountant. I don't. It's crazy. Anyway.
Okija, is it because you don't have any that you can attach to your name?
I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer, and also I'm a Okija. I'm a titled man, so but I don't go around, telling people all this nonsense, or attaching it to my name. But I understand Maazi, and we remember Maazi Bono in GK, and anyway. Talks. I don't know, village headmaster. I want to like it because I think I'm gonna just make commentary and then you can answer if you have questions. Them. I mean, like after the last election, presidential election, Peter Obi talked about how people that supported him, people that like gave were significant financial support, how they were victimized by the Nigerian government.
Mm-hmm.
And when he talked about it, I knew it was talking about people like Obi Kubana, and his other people attached to him. I don't you guys think that the way you guys went after Obi Kubana, when they go city boy, that it was like too much, because these guys, I don't think they were, or they are in their right mind, convincingly, advocating for this government. I believe, somehow they're trying to protect their businesses, because we've heard the other one, the chief priest, talked about, he had to go to EFCC or something like that. Obi Kubana, has said, things that, he had to go through. So I don't think that, anyone, in his right mind will be supporting this administration. Some other thing I want to say is this, on March 24th, I think, 2 weeks from now, so the Federal High Court will decide the fate of ADC, if ADC will be a party, or if so I don't know how the P2B kept, last week, was it last week he went to Agoro and got his card, whatever. So, because I mean, why you guys are playing your own game, I know Nigerian government, they are playing their own game, because you saw what happened in Abuja during the election, the trick they came up with. Because I know these guys, they have a lot of tricks, they just introduce them one by one. Abuja election, shut down, you guys couldn't go out, and there is also voter buy-in. So I mean, all back at Namageju here. With all this, this coming election, we know APC, they have the money, they can buy votes. And the funny thing is that Nigerians right now, they are accepting the money and buy, they are willingly accepting the money. So many people are accepting the money without, asking questions. ADC, they have issue with, party, voter, party registration, members registration, people register to be members of the party. And they also have this low turnout in voter registration. In Southeast, especially Southeast, people are not registering to vote. I think, I saw statistics, it was like about, it was less than 5% or something like that. I'm not sure, can't remember now. 1 point something, I was, this thing, before the news. Like why people are suffering. People, they are, extreme poverty in Nigeria, and they're talking about voter registration. People are not going out to vote. Let me register. So I'm just, thinking, is it, how do this election, is it going to be possible? I mean, opposition, are they going to make any dent, when this election comes? And what else was I going to ask you? Yeah, so, so that's it, that's all about it, if I have some other things I ask them. But, I want to talk here about it.
So were these comments or were they questions? Sorry, were they comments or the questions?
Yeah, I mean, I just make a general comment. So if guys, if you can, just make your own comment.
Well, okay. On the party going to court, I do not think, for me that's a storm in a teacup. It's a settled battle a long time ago. I don't see any issue there. On the issue of Abuja election, I mean, I wasn't told. It's a different thing that I read things up from newspaper. I was an accredited observer. I drove around Abuja with Henry Shield, a PDP steward, and the younger brother to Osita Chidoka, that is Ikenna Chidoka, with one other guy. So 4 of us drove around. There were people who were arrested unjustly by the police. We went to the stations, and the ones we could bail, we bailed them, and yeah, bail is free. Anyway, and we bailed them, and the rest is history. And the election that happened, multiple things did happen, and one key takeaway here is, in Igbo we say, you can make a cloth for someone, but if that person is going to wear it, we can do whatever we want if the people would want to help. But we can't make much progress if the people you're trying to help are reluctant to accept the help, right? So, in the real sense, the party in power does not have the money to pay every single voter. If the people come out to say we are going to vote and we're not going to take money, there is absolutely nothing the government in power can do. But partly what I saw in Abuja, in Area 1, Gaki, Abuja, driving into polling units 001, 003, 13, and 14, then 007, I saw a young northerner accosted us. What he said, he just came to us, he said, Megidane akwoi PVC. So meaning, Oga, I have PVC. Are they telling me at the boat, Kagani 10,000. So he was even the one telling me, I paid 10,000. I paid 10,000. I bought APC. I paid 10,000. So he was willing, just saying, if you give me 10,000, I'll vote APC. Now, for him, it's not about voting. It's about survival. And because government has also weaponized poverty, and there is also this video by, I'm talking about the one that I know, the one that happened to me. I'm not talking about others. But there is one that also, a video that trended afterwards, a young lady who said, why would I vote if I'm not given anything to vote? With that mentality, we are going into a very, very deep shit if that mentality sticks. So for 2027, the job is multi-layered, civic engagement, and hence what we are doing at the Village Boys movement here. Try to educate the people on the reason why this paper here, your PVC, why it matters, and the decision you can make with it. This decides if you're going to live or die, because this will decide if you're going to get the right person to make decision, that you have a doctor in case if you have an accident or have a snake bite, if you're going to have the medicine or the medication to cure you. This decides if your aged parents in the village, the amenities they get, or it's someone somewhere going to use that money just to buy SUVs and drive and run your grandmom who is coming out of the farm in the village up the street. So the decision is ours. We are doing our best with our own resources in all the all the negativity, all the threats, the much we can to sensitize the people, believing that Nigerians would see reasons with us why things has to go a different direction, right? So in doing that, no one knows. We believe that we will succeed in 2027, but no one could tell you we don't even know what's going to happen if we're going to get to 2027. We don't know. Anybody who tells you that we'll get there or what will happen is, telling a fluke. So if we get there, this is the intention, what we intend doing. If we don't get there, I do not know what happens next. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Maazi. Okay, let's welcome Pansat to the show. Pansat says that he doesn't get respect. He's older than Igbo Basics. We don't respect him on this platform. Pansat, welcome to the show. Do you have Maazi to your name, or do we add something? Do you have a PhD? Or?
No, I don't. I'm a simple man. Let me say that I'm happy that you brought Maazi Ezeoke to the show. The last time I saw him, I was at his show. He made me a moderator, and we did a good job. Let me say to you, though, Maazi, that a lot of things you've done I like. I share a lot of your philosophy and patriotism for our country. But there are some differences, and that's why I'm here. I was here earlier, and I wasn't recognized. Let me say that, let me just go straight to the point. I see your work. You do a lot of good work, especially in the last election. You were there in the trenches, and you fought very hard. But I want to make it very clear that you do not speak for all Igbos. You have your own opinion. When you berate
all right. I don't know where Pansat joined.
No, I think he may come back. My brother, on no platform have I.
Am I back?
We can't see you. We can't see you, and there is noise from your end.
NEPA has taken his life.
Can you rejoin and
I will dial back. I'm up in the mountains here.
Okay.
Okay. While Pansat is coming back, please.
Okay.
Rudolph, remove him so that he can come back. While Pansat is coming back, please, I want to put it out there. I have never. Now, this is not Daniel Boala's denial. If you have it on record, please play for me. I have never said, and I will.
This is
the water is half full, please. So I have never, and I will not. I speak for myself, Maazi Ezeoke. I don't even speak entirely. I speak for the shows I have on Njenje. I don't even speak entirely for Njenje, talk less of the whole of Ndibo. The great Igbo nation, I can't speak for. A people that have the mind of their own. But also, I am a man who has his own mind, and I'm not afraid to say what I think. And if I say what I think, if you disagree with me, say it out. We can argue. I marshal out my own point respectfully, and it's believing that you do so yours. If you have superior argument than mine, who am I? I wasn't born to have the last say. So you put up your argument. If you have a superior argument than myself, of course, I yield. But, no one should accuse me ever. And I cannot, and I am not speaking for Igbo. Yes, I'm a proud Igbo son, but I can't speak for Igbo. But I can speak for myself proudly. So, thank you.
All right. While we wait for Pansat to come back, let's go to Ernest Eze. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Dr. Rudolph. Is it Njenje or Jeje?
Njenje.
Okay. So I have some questions for you.
One. Make you one. We're out of time. Find the best one.
Okay. Do you believe now that there is a Christian genocide in Nigeria? Last time, I think you say it's a lie, that there was no Christian genocide. And secondly, there's a new law. I think they say the electoral law that if you have to register electronically to be a member of a political party and submit it in 21 days before primary,
And if you lose the primary, you won't be able to defect to get contest in another. So you have to remain in the political party. So if Peter Obi loses in ADC, and Peter Obi will say that he will contest 2027. If he loses in ADC primary, is he going to contest? Then last one about I suppose sit at home as a person. I suppose IPOB sit at home, but I want it to be voluntary. So any governor who is against it at home, I don't like it. I heard you saying that Nigerian Army, you saw a video in, is it Mother Valley in Anambra State, they dislodged IPOB member. But Nigerian Army, every year, they have been dislodging IPOB members in Mother Valley. If you're a journalist, that thing is a fake news. So you have to verify it. I'm saying it because in my hometown, there's a Punch newspaper yesterday or day before yesterday that they arrested 2 people who are IPOB members who have been burning police station. Those 2 guys, they were not even IPOB member. The local government chairman was pulling down people's shop. He wanted to build a shopping mall. They were against it. He arranged with DSA, arrested them and said they're IPOB members. So 99% of news in Southeast about arresting IPOB are fake. So you have to verify those Mother Valley because every year, Nigerian Army used to fight with IPOB members in Mother Valley. They will still do it next year. So those 3 districts, if you can just...
Can I ask you, before I answer your question, can I ask you, where do you reside?
I reside in the US, but I have all the news coming out from now.
It's a simple question. Where you reside in US?
Texas.
Do you go to work every Monday?
Any day I'm sick, I don't want to go, I'll call in.
Okay, any day you are sick, but do you...
Because I'm working for people. But if I have a shop on my own, I decide when to open my shop, when not to open it. It's my right. Okay. So it's not government shop. If a Fulani herdsman say, I don't want to rear my cow today, is Nigerian government going to force them to rear their cow?
Okay. So you've established one thing. You live in the comfort of your home in the United States of
Forget about comfort. Nobody, wherever you live, and you see that your people are being persecuted, they kill them, they do this. You not be happy. Forget about where you live. I'm telling you, is everybody's right whether to open his or her shop.
Can I ask you this one more last question?
Yes.
When was the last time you visited your village and stayed about 6 weeks?
Okay, thank you. You asked that question. In 2022 December, I was in my village. I went to my village once. So when I went, the Fulani herdsmen came. They killed many people. They displaced people. People went to IDP camps. They brought Nigerian Army. They are the people that caused it. When they brought Nigerian Army, they told people to stay indoors. People stay indoors. Fulani herdsmen came and massacred people. There was no Nigerian Army. When those people left, Nigerian Army, they came and started arresting people.
Okay, so
it's ESN people that went to the bush to pursue those people. People don't even know what is happening to you. You think that all these news are fake news.
Okay. I leave it at that because the moment you start speaking with finality, it means there are certain...
It's not finality. I said you should verify those videos in Mother Valley. That's what I said.
Okay. The videos in the Mother Valley. You see, when I speak with some level of authority and certainty to explain certain things. And let me explain to you, listen very clear. When I made reference to Mother Valley, I said those in the Mother Valley committing atrocities. I didn't mention anyone. You are the one filling in the gap from your mouth. Okay.
Okay. You said about, sorry, let me chip in one more thing. We talked about
Rudolph, I have 2 minutes.
Study by Odinkalu and this guy. So they said their study, the insecurity is not it's not by IPOB. That is caused by political talks and cultism. Nigerian government saying it's IPOB. So the outcome of the investigation, they say it's not IPOB, it's not ESN.
Okay, Ernest, hold on. Okay, Maazi has to go. Is that what I understand?
Yes, I have a meeting by 10 o'clock Nigerian time, and I'm moderating it, so it's in
3 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So quickly, let me go ahead. Let me just. You want to hold that answer you want to give him. Let me give Pansat a chance. Pansat, just 1 minute because he has to go.
Thank you very much. And Maazi, thank you for coming and staying. And we'll let you go in a minute. But that gentleman, Anastasia, has just eviscerated everything you believe. Because I have to tell you, you're a guy that we're very proud of. I want you to keep doing the right work. But you really have to listen, okay? On this IPOB, for example, you are aware that Nigerian government have many ways of killing different tribes. So the Igbo ones are being caused by our own people. And your support for Soludo is shameful because it goes contrary to everything else. You know, let me tell you, people, do you support Ojukwu? Did you like Ojukwu's activity? Your Ojukwu came from your place, got into a war. We all chipped in and fought that war, right? Battalions from Abada went and conquered everybody in the River State all the way to Benin on August 9th, 1969. Our people took over those states and made them a republic. And that's a war that's caused by somebody from your clan. So being clannish, which is what I suspect you're doing, within Nnamdi, because he's not from Enugu and you keep insulting him.
Answer, because he has to go. Let him respond to you.
I know,
and then you can join us. You can join us.
He's spoken enough. Let me just talk. Will you let me talk for a minute?
But he has to go. He has to respond
He's
to
gonna
you.
go. I'm gonna conclude in a minute. What I'm saying is that clannishness is a disease in Nigeria as much as tribalism, right? So insulting Nnamdi is not gonna get us anywhere. He has to respect Nnamdi and his sacrifices he's making.
You want to speak with Njenje.
You see, the problem some of you have is
I'm not done.
No. Sorry, sir. With all due respect, you see, the problem some of you have is, you keep saying you are an elder. I speak with level of measure that no name has been mentioned here. You keep infusing this. I here did not mention IPOB. I here did not mention Nnamdi Kanu. But you keep infusing it. What I said, and I repeat, that in the last week, because I know some individuals who are involved in that those criminals terrorizing Igbo who are in the Mother Valley, for the first time, the Nigerian army has been able to go to the Mother Valleys, fill in the gap. Whatever.
But Madam said it's IPOB and ESN.
You are the one saying it, guys. Anyway, it's time. Sorry, let me start the other meeting. Honestly, I wish I've spent 3.5 hours. I wish
look, it's okay.
I can do more.
It doesn't take away from the good work you're doing. All I'm trying to say to you is that when you come out, you have to respect the Igbos. Okay, you just can't be lumping stuff on us because you want to advance somebody's political agenda. Let's say Peter Obi, who we support. But we're not gonna, because of Peter Obi, we're gonna have people dumping stuff on our people and disrespecting others who are also doing equally good work, like Nnamdi Kanu. Maazi Nnamdi Kanu sacrificed a lot. The Biafrans, we brought about Nigeria, brought independence. So if you look at someone like Daniel Bala right now, you show me one single minority or Yoruba person that's gonna condemn Bala. It's not gonna be like Masker right there. He's not going to say anything bad about Bala. No Yoruba is going to condemn Bala. It's only going to be Igbos who are going to talk about it.
I hope he's not calling my name.
You hope. All right. Benson, welcome to the show. Sorry you don't have the chance to interact with Maazi. He's gone to another meeting. But what were you going to say, and what is your comment on what we've been discussing all day?
All protocols observed. And Dr. Demagis, thank you for letting me into your show. May God bless everybody. And I want to commend the efforts of our sister Ife. She has been every time coming here, these days. I really commend her. And all her inputs, she's trying her best. That shows she's a truly Igbo lady. All the ladies that used to come here, if not her and the other one, the one from Delta or Benin, what's the name again? The tall one. What's the name? She don't come in, I don't know. I forget her name. They're the best, And yesterday night, I was laughing at her. She was fighting this propaganda. These propagandists. When those ones are talking, those ones say they are face off two. That's what's that guy. He didn't allow people to talk in the night. He was shouting at downtown everybody. And I think if he doesn't know him very well, you see. So I was laughing because that one he took Musaria in his head, The other day, the same thing happened with me and them. This guy, because of him, this guy going to shut me down. And that is that time, whenever that two Nigerians is doing those kind of nonsense, don't come again. That is program, don't come. So, but all the same, Mr. Ezeoke, I wanted to tell, because for this issue of resolving Nigeria or having Biafra, so on and so forth, it can be because of the Benue people or the middle belt. If they're not ready, or if it is going to be against them, or if they're going to suffer, then we have to continue to suffer with them if they're not ready to have their own independence. That's nonsense. You see, all these people make their own views and talk these things, The middle belt, if the Nigeria are disintegrated today, the middle belt are going to suffer. So that means we have to continue to be with them, or to continue to be with the same place, and we continue to die. Where is the country heading to? Day before yesterday, more than 40 soldiers were killed. Before Nigeria can be good, unless Nigeria is Islamized, that's only these people can lay down their arms. If not, these people that have started, they can't. So anybody who just continue talking about Nigeria, somebody ask him, do you think is it that Nigeria cannot be redeemed again? Instead of him saying yes, or he's telling me that if we disintegrate the country, the Benue people will suffer, or that regions will suffer. Are we twins? Even if we are twins sometimes go apart. So if the other twin is suffering, then it affects me. You see, it's not going to be easy for anybody. Even the Igbos, it's not going to be easy for them. It's not going to be easy for the Southwest. But the problem is that the more we go our separate ways, the more every region can be able to come up together and know what to do to help their people. But like this, we are together. Nigeria is a criminal country where almost everybody is a criminal. Almost 95% of the country is criminals. So you can't tell me that country can work in life. It's difficult. If you mentioned Namibia before, if you go to Namibia, you not even like to come to Nigeria again. If you go to Namibia, Namibia have one of the best roads in Africa. The education is standard. They have everything you can think of. They are not too rich, but everything there. Nigerians that went there don't want to come back anymore. Nigerians went there, they are begging for them to give the citizenship. If you go to Namibia, if you go to Botswana, you don't like to come back anymore. You understand? You call their police now, the police will 5 minutes they are there. Upon there, they are not very rich. Any of their roads, when any of their roads constructed, you can stay more than 20 to 30 years. You can't see where the roads are being commissioned. Nigerian people are making like we are too illiterate. We are very illiterate. A road is being commissioned, and people are like, what is commission of a road? Go to Namibia, you can't see a place where road is being commissioned, where school is being commissioned, where anything is being commissioned. They do this in the. It's very, very unfortunate when you and again it's talking about Soludo and Dr. Damages. I've told you before, when I see professors these days, I used to run away. Because Soludo, you see, the issue is not about going to school. It's not about acquiring this nonsense, the professorship and the engineership and so on and so forth. Those that acquired professorship in Nigeria, those begin election. Those that acquired engineers in Nigeria cannot even construct road. And so why you see, getting on me, I'm a businessman. I didn't go for business school, but I can be able to. I started with nothing. I started with, let me say, $100. Yeah, but I know how much I've made. I'm controlling my own business. But I didn't go to business school. So you see, all these things of education, I don't respect somebody who say went to school, but I respect somebody who have what they call it, who have wisdom. If you go to school and you don't have wisdom, you are not going anywhere. You can't make anything. No progress. All the people who studied in Nigeria, all this, Obi was able to do what he's doing because he has wisdom. He was able to restrain himself from corruption. But those that went to school in Nigeria, all of them are, majority of them are corrupt. So how do you come to, when you see somebody are medicated, they're medicated, you're going to acquire somebody's language, you're going to study somebody's English, then you come and say you're educated. But those, even Russia, Japanese, go to Japan. Japan don't know English. But Japan, you can't see a Japanese man, a rich man driving 2 cars or 3 cars. You can't see them having 3 or 4 or 5 houses. They have only one. Even some of them don't have. But you see that level of wisdom, level of education in them. But they didn't study this nonsense English and this nonsense French and so on and so on. But you see, their country is moving forward, moving fine. The issue is level of, if you can able to restrain yourself from being so corrupt, you can move forward. But when you cannot restrain yourself, everybody is corrupt, the children are corrupt, everybody is doing nonsense. There are people that are killing us every day. You see, let me say it again. I don't care whatever this and that. You see, I want to say it again here. You can't be with people who are killing you and you say you can make progress. People are killing you, you want to be with them. That is madness. That is stupidness. Since I was born, we see the Fulanis carrying knife since we are born in Nigeria. Up till now, from knife they start carrying gun. And this gun is destroying people, destroying the whole this thing of Nigeria. So how do you think that you can still continue to live with those people and you think that you can make progress? The person is making is a joke, is just the biggest joke in the world. All these places that are moving forward, where do you see them killing people? Is it not even a joke? It's like those supporting APC or those supporting Tinubu. When somebody asks, people don't ask themselves. Tinubu has been there for 3 years now. He didn't even achieve anything. What is Tinubu coming there to do again in Nigeria? What is he coming there to do again in Nigeria? What? Okay. It's what level of illiteracy and nonsense people are doing, ethnicity and tribalism and so on and so forth. Even those that are making that tribalism, they're also suffering more than those that are not even know that. Those that are supporting this nonsense, collecting 1,000, collecting 2,000, supporting nonsense, they even suffer more than others. So I don't not to waste your time on the damages.
Thank you.
God bless you for giving the opportunity. Yeah.
Finally, we're going to let AY speak. After that, we will end the show. There is a show coming up next, which is the after show. KJ will be your host. You have an opportunity to analyze this, what happened today in details.
Dr. Damages, please, before you get there, I want to put it on record that Maazi Ezeoke came here and spoke emphatically. Maazi Ezeoke did not come here to defend any government, including Soludo or anything. If we listen very carefully to the presentation of Maazi Ezeoke, he dealt specifically with the elements of what is going on between civilization and then no way to pass into the markets. He dealt with the ills of what happens with when people begin to mislead others to think that they are miracle workers. He dealt with the ills of whatever government is doing. He never mentioned that he is in support of this or that. Rather, what he said is this: if you see truth, make you talk. If you see Onisha, if something has to break before something is rebuilt. The same thing happened with Nigeria. All of us, when they talk Igbo. We went to war. We came back with nothing. And as a result of that, some of us have advanced tremendously. And for the people who think that education means nothing, think twice. The reason being that you can have all the money you want in the whole world, but if you don't have a simple National Youth Service certificate, for instance, it will be burning in your heart that there is something missing. And I just wanted to end with a question to Ife. If the Igwe of Nnewi now has electricity in his place, because the last time we came there, there was no electricity, and we brought him to the state of New Jersey. He is one of the lucky ones, one of the lucky Igwe who came here and was given a state reception by Governor Jim McGreevy, who were responsible for that.
All right, thank you so much. If he did not hear you, but let me go to if the Igwe of your hometown. Anyway, let's leave that. Let me go to AY. If you can end the show.
What did Igwe Kenneth reason did? What did he do?
If you hold on, let's after AY, then you and Igbo Basics.
Yeah, good afternoon, Rudolph. Good afternoon, everyone from here. I've been listening to Maazi Ezeoke. You see, I was just appreciating him. There was no need to come and ask him any question. We as people, Nigeria, black people, one thing that will help us is to stick to fact and try to learn from our elders also. Igbo Basic has been speaking a lot today. We can pick something from there. The idea where we'll have intelligent people on ground in Nigeria, telling us what is going on, people that are aware. It seems even a lot of us, even those that come here to speak propaganda, they appreciate it. People identify what is correct. It's not that they don't know. Couple of weeks ago, Dr. Franklin was here. Everybody was praising him. Franklin. You see, when people like Franklin are here, I don't come on this. I don't come up here. I just watch. I make sure I don't miss 1 second. Because these are people that speak to facts. They don't come here and just be talking things that are not existing. You can't blame everybody for your problem. We need to actually recognize that, okay, we have these issues. How do we deal with them? Don't come here and be. I know Dr. Damage have allowed everybody to have your say, but please, let's try to stick to fact so that we educate ourselves, so people at least will believe you. Yeah, people can make mistakes, but what Maazi has done today is telling us, okay, he's aware, he knows what is going on in the country, he knows what is going on in your state, he knows what is going on. There are people that have information. Dr. Odi Kalu, same thing. He will come here and speak to fact. People will come. Please, let's stop. Let's try to listen to voice of reasoning. We have problem. The problem Nigeria are facing is the same all over. I can tell you this for free. All over the country. The problem of hunger, the problem of insecurity, these are issues the common people face. You know, when you are talking of the bourgeoisie, the rich everywhere, from the north, from the south, from the east, from the west, wherever, they behave the same way. KJ said something today that is very important, that when these people get to the airport, they go into the inner room, change to Agbada, and they change their status immediately. So just look at the mentality of these people. But when you go to foreign country, you behave yourself, you obey the law, you follow the rules. You go back to your country, you are above the law. Policeman question you, do you know who I am? Nobody can question you. So we should not be allowing these people to hitting us, you know, hitting our heads together. Oh, because I'm this person, they are discriminating against me, because they don't care about the poor people. They don't care about the suffering of Nigerians. This is the way we need to think, so that one day we will have solution to this country. Thank you, Dr. Damage.
All right, thank you so much. Is there any, if you wanted to say something, or we should just round up? I don't think. Okay. All right. Let me just say that.
Can I just say something, Rudolph, for a round up, please?
Okay.
I think Mr. Ezeoke, he misunderstood what I was talking about. Basically, what I'm trying to say is this: there is more situation that warrants immediate action by the governor of Anambra State, because in the first place, he has not been able to arrest those people who mistakenly post 100 million naira of Anambra money to IG's son's account. Has he dealt with that? He has not dealt with that. Now, secondly, The reason why these young people in your states are looking for how to make money to survive because you have not provided them with job. And I'm not saying that people should crime is going to go away once that job, but then people have an option. They are running away from your state because there is no job. Now you have farmlands that are very rich farmland in Anambra State. Have you tried to engage these people, this youth? Okay, everything is not fire brigade. Okay, get down bulldozer, bulldoze the place down. Let's do this, let's do that. No, I'm not in any way. Like I said when I was speaking, I said I am a Christian, so I'm not going to support, this Okit or whatever it is. However, a society is not only made of Christians. A society is not only made of good people. It's made of all mixtures of people. That's why there's law. So if you think that there is something that these people are doing that is contrary, they're not. Listen, again, I want to be very clear on this. No government or nobody is forcing those people to go into this crime. You know what the law requires in those states where you are carrying drugs to. You know what the outcome will be. So instead of tackling the end, why don't you tackle it from the beginning? Look, guys, I have provided employment for you people. Okay, I don't have offices to employ you, but I have farm settlements. I'm giving out 1 hectare, 2 hectare to those who are ready. We are going to plow it and give it to you to farm. Okay, make your money, sell it. We're willing to buy it from you people. Don't go to this place to go and kill yourself. This is the situation. This is the situation. This is the situation. These things can be realized, achieved without much of all these things that's going on in Anambra State. And like I said, most times it's easy to lay it squarely on what government is doing, but government is not seeing its own side where it's leading the people into crime. And I said this without any fear of contradiction. Many of them who are politicians are all in the occult. Have they been able to take themselves to court? Are they not the people who are teaching those young people what to do? Are they not the ones? Do they want us to start calling names? So this is the thing we know. They do these things behind, but they come out in the open and begin to condemn it. You know who you people are. You know what you do. You are the ones encouraging the people. Because if you bring good behavior will be available in your community. If you bring bad behavior, they will learn. You people brought money into it. When we were at primary school those days, how many people were looking for money? I was paying 225 naira from Makodi to Federal School of Arts and Science of Goja. So you guys introduce money into the system. Now you guys are dealing with the young men and making their life miserable for what you introduced. You made work to not be appreciated. You people made work not to be appreciated in Nigeria. So those who are farmers, you made it look as if farming was an issue, a big issue. So people were running away from their communities to go to the city. And you have not thought it wise to take the amenities that is driving people to the city into their communities so that they will stop leaving their communities. Okay? So when we start blaming the people, let us also look at those who are governing us. Look, all these people are the same thing with Daniel Bala. Daniel Bala is only that he did his own in the international stage. The same thing they are doing in Anambra State. You are leaving the issue and dealing with the fallout of the issue that you created. Anyway, I don't want to go on and on. Thank you so much.
Brother, can I say something?
No. Well, okay, go ahead.
You see, KG, we have a problem. I don't think you understand what's going on here. It's not only in the East. In the West, in the South, there is a crisis. I tell you this for free. In the name of Yahoo, children are involved in terrible rituals. Today, you ask kids. I was in Nigeria late last year. You talk to little children. They said, who school help? They don't even want to go to school. Children as young as 15 years, they are looking for money already. They don't care about school. They don't care about work. So even if we should provide farmland, they are not going to farm. So Soludo is doing the right thing. The other governors should emulate it. Even if they not right now, probably talk to Masca. He's going to tell you. It's a problem. We know there is hunger in the land. We have, but come on, it's not that they're looking for money like they live with their parents. I mean, Why is 50-year-old looking for how to buy the latest Mercedes car? Why don't you do the work first? Why don't you go to school first and at least have the degree? In fact, come up and say, you know what, I have a master's degree, but I don't have a job. Let's start from there. Because you are hungry of water does not mean you take water from the gutter and be drinking it. So Soludo is doing the right thing. The other governors should emulate to stop criminality in state, not only in the East. Don't get it twisted. It's everywhere in Nigeria right now. It's a menace. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Before we go, let me just play this and make my
coming on national TV to say because you
just invited me.
Yes, what I'm saying is based on.
Can you calm down?
Yeah.
When a question is posed to you, you respond to the question. No, I should calm down, doctor. No. Put her on a leash. No. You should calm down.
So I know during the conversation with Maazi Ezeoke, it came up, about the media space, what's going on. I think it's a conversation that we'll continue to have in weeks and days to come. As we approach this election, there will be tension, passion, and people will want to express themselves because a lot is at stake. Even on this platform, every week, we are going to have such situations where people will get angry, get mad. What we ask is that people should know, the language. It's always about the language. We encourage anybody to share an opinion, whatever the opinion is, but the way you share that opinion is what determines everything. I always say that there is no need to put anybody on a leash. There's no need to call anybody stupid. If you have your point, your argument, you can marshal your argument and have confidence in the people who are watching at home. I do have confidence in them. I know that they could read all of us, they could hear us, and they know who is making sense, who is not making sense, and they make their judgment. It doesn't matter how long you shout or how loud. So that's very important, and I hope that as we go along, as this election comes on, we will moderate our conversation here and make it a space that is healthy and open to everybody. Okay, that's my message for today. Again, thank you all for watching. I appreciate everybody. I will now thank those that supported us. Kulata, thank you so much for your support. Oriako, thank you so much. Oscar Blackbone, thank you. Nana, thank you so much. And who else am I missing? Oscar, and then Choma, thank you. Don Anthony, thank you, everybody. We appreciate all of you. Next week, I will have another interesting guest. Again, we put it open to anybody. If you know anybody who we think is interesting, that will come on this platform and share knowledge with us, we will reach out to them.
Can you reach out to Randy Peters? Peter.
Oh, Peter who? Peter of Nigeria?
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, I've been trying. I'll get to that. I have that on my radar.
I sent you Chobuago's information.
Okay, please resend it because I probably forgot. But there are a lot of people we are pursuing, trying to get them here. We will.
And Zebrudaya should be a whole show of its own when the time comes.
Yes. That one will happen. Again, thank you, everybody. Those that watched at home, thank you. I appreciate you. Those on the comment section, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate all of you. I will see you next Saturday. KJ has a show, so you can join KJ for the after show where we can analyze what happened on this show. Again, thank you, everybody, and I'll see you Saturday.
Don't KJ's name, please.
Tó fẹ́ kú torí ẹ̀. Ọwọ́ ẹni ló ti ṣàánú kọ́. Ayé la fi sílẹ̀ sí.
you so much for watching. Thank you. Have you subscribed? Yes, you. Have you subscribed? You. Yeah, before you go, click. It's free. Click. Just that's it. Have you subscribed? You're laughing. Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, madam, thank you so much. I can see you. I can see you. We have to get to 100,000 subscribers. This by the end of the year. How are we going to do that if you don't subscribe? Yes, you. Yes, you're about to click off. Why? Have you subscribed? It's free. If you don't, ask your son. Ask your daughter. How to? Just one click. Thank you. Thank you. I see you. Aha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.